Welcome back to the Djellab YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Or if you're watching on Spotify, nothing but football. Lots of names, lots of brand names. And joining me today, several names. We've got Henry Hill, the beard still looking very luscious. He's using beard oil now.
Not one point have I said that to you. I am planning on. I thought I'd wear my Swedish shirt just to really bring out the Scandi vibes. Yeah. By the way, just so you know, when I tell people, I'm like, I'm on a podcast. Yeah, I've got a podcast. And they're like, oh, where is it? Okay, it's on the Djellab channel. So it's Zach's podcast. Which you're, no, I'm a regular on it.
Yeah.
But it's not your podcast. No, it's Zach's podcast. Yeah, you're right. It's not mine.
It's all of our podcasts. It's your podcast.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. But Henry's beard getting a lot of love at the moment. A lot of nice comments about it. Leng, indeed. Someone's got Leng.
I had to Google that. I had no idea.
You had to Google that.
What does this mean?
Obviously, I didn't know.
How old are you now?
I'm a 30-year-old old man. Like, as in old being...
An old
Older, you should be older.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 28 next week, so we are definitely aging. Some of you guys have been watching me for 10 years on YouTube. How's that make you feel? Ben, how are we doing? Cara's best mate over here.
Oh, yeah. What,
Jamie Carragher.
What, J-Dog? J-Dog. Cara.
What did he say to you? What did he do?
He said that he knows me from TikTok, and I've been giving him a lot of rubbish, apparently.
Did he actually say that to you?
Yeah. He was joking, but and I actually have, to be fair. When he's been chatting rubbish about Spurs, I'll call him out.
And you should buy it?
Or
you apologise?
He knows.
No,
the
don't
game.
back down. Double down. Double down.
Don't back down, double down, indeed. That's the motto of this podcast, especially with Henry and some of his claims. Remember Wolves? That was a big one. Cunha. Double down. Anyway, as you can see by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about transfers, of course. We are here at the Three Lanterns pub just off of Leicester Square. If you guys are ever in London and want to watch the football or any other sport, make sure you come down here to check it out. Some work is going on around the building, so you might hear some drilling or something. I do apologise, but it is what it is. And thank you to the lovely people at Three Lanterns for letting us shoot here all the time. But before we crack on with this podcast, I need to talk to you about So Rare. Now, if you guys at home don't know about So Rare, let me put you onto it because it's basically fantasy football, but on another level. So Rare has over 300 officially licensed clubs, and we're talking about the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Ligue 1, some of the biggest competitions in the world. And you guys at home will be able to collect these cards and keep them. These are limited edition digital cards that you guys at home will be able to play, trade, and even sell. Think of it that fantasy football meets collecting cards, but it's way more powerful. So how do you play? Well, step one, you download the app and scout. You head to the marketplace and grab your 5 players, a keeper, a defender, a midfielder, and a forward, and of course, 1 extra. Step 2 is also really, really easy. You guys at home will submit your team into what So Rare call game weeks to play in competitions. Your players will then score points based on their real life performances. So if they score a brace or a hat trick, you are winning for this. Or if a defender collects a clean sheet, you're buzzing. And also, on top of this, they get points for everything they do. So they don't have to just do that. Passes, dribbles, all of these things get you points. Step 3 is basically a result of step 2. You guys will then climb the leaderboards and have the possibility to win some huge prizes. And this is where it can get really fun. You can win new cards, you can win cash prizes, you can also get some unbelievable real life experiences, like meeting the icon Zinedine Zidane. So whether you guys at home want to test your football knowledge or flex your managerial skills and chase the big rewards, So Rare is the place to do it. So if this sounds like something for you, then get involved and download the app with the link down below in the description. And you'll also be able to get 50% off the first 150 euros worth of money you spend on the game. Doesn't matter if it's 10 euros, you'll essentially buy the players for 5 euros. That's exactly how it works. It's a really, really good offer and helps you build a strong team to kick off this season. I know we're a couple of game weeks in, but it doesn't matter. You can start now and really, really do well. I'm genuinely really, really enjoying the game at the moment, and you guys at home can do so as well by clicking that link in the description. So fellas, without further ado, let's crack on with the podcast. It's a big one, of course. We're going to go through every single transfer that has been made and talk about how your club's transfer window has done. First off, guys, we're kicking it with Bournemouth. We're kicking it off with Bournemouth. We talk a little bit about them. Of course, we can go into a little bit about the sales. I think it's also about who's been brought in. However, some of these clubs have done very, very well in the sale market as well. Bournemouth being one of them. I think they are second for the most sales in the Premier League, making around £200 million by doing so. They, of course, sold Jadon Anthony to Burnley, Dean Huijsen to Real Madrid, Kepa Arrizabalaga obviously went back to Chelsea, to be fair. We saw Kerkez go to Liverpool. Now, the sales in, I think, are equally as interesting. We've spoken a few times on the podcast, and we will do now as well, to talk about Triffier, the fullback, who essentially is replacing Kerkez.
Wizard.
As
I said he'd be.
Henry's been a big fan of him. They also brought in Ben Doak from Liverpool at a decent fee as well. Jordi Petrovic from Chelsea comes in goal. Diakite, the centre-back, comes in from Lille.
He's a monster, by the way.
Yeah, you feel so?
He was really good against Spurs at the weekend. Completely pocketed Richarlison. Richarlison was quite poor in the game, couldn't make a lot of stick, but Diakite was always there at his back, putting him under pressure. Like really, really solid purchase. And a little bit like Truffaut, it's like they might end up like when they sold Huijsen, Kerkez, and Zabani, everyone's a bit like, oh my god, like this could be the year that Bournemouth go down. It's like, come on, man. It's like they were the club that bought those players in the first place. They've replaced them really well so far.
Props to their scouting department, because Zabani starting at PSG straight away. Huijsen, apparently they love him at Real Madrid. Ouattara already scoring goals.
Because his time at Liverpool's a bit interesting at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, he had a better game.
Sunday,
he had a very good game on Sunday.
Yeah, he
the
did.
week I took him out of my fantasy team. Yeah, props to them. So this is the thing. You now look at these signings. When I saw they bought this young lad from Red Star on the final day of the window, I was suddenly like, who is he? And is he...
Milo Salvic?
He must be good.
Centre about 18 years old.
Adley remains to be seen what he'll do. But yeah, Diakite, what I respect about it is I think they've paid a bit more than they intended to for Diakite, but I think they just recognised with the people that they'd lost, they thought, we've just got to get a deal over the line here. Lille is a very reliable place to shop, in my opinion. It's a pretty solid talent factory. And as we've seen already, it looks very good. Petrovic, he's been making a ton of saves already this season. So yeah, really... The most important thing about Bournemouth is they've held on to Iraola, in my opinion, because clearly that system's in place. Senesi as well is a really underrated quality. Obviously, Zabani and Huijsen got so much credit last season, and rightly so, but Senesi is a really, really solid centre-half. So to have him as the rock alongside Diakite, I think, yeah. And
well, do you not think maybe one of their biggest kind of transfer winnings was not selling Semenyo? They got him to sign a new contract.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. I think... Again, going back to the performance against Spurs on Saturday, he was unplayable, and I do feel like he's almost like
he's outrageous right now.
I saw someone make a video about this a few weeks ago. They were saying like, who is the best left winger in the Premier League now? And I know he predominantly likes to play on the right, but I think Bournemouth they could probably get at Porro, win that kind of physical battle. I do think like we shouldn't turn our nose just because there's no like superstar left winger in the Premier League anymore. Maybe Diaz going, I don't think we should turn our noses up at like Gordon, Gakpo and Semenyo in terms of like real proper quality. And I think Semenyo, if he carries on the kind of way that he started the season, there's a massive, not to disrespect Bournemouth, there is probably a massive move waiting for him next year, and also that claim to be the best left wing in the league, I think.
Just wait on Kevin, by the way. But Arne Slot after the first game, he in every interview I saw him do, they'd be talking about Bournemouth and he'd go, by the way, Semenyo, what a player. He said that a few times, and it's obvious.
Why do you feel like no one went for him in the end? Is it because he doesn't feel like maybe a jazzy signing?
No.
I think Bournemouth just did well to like
keep him down.
Yeah, and they lost other players, so it was like we can't lose everyone.
But Zabani managed to get a move. Like I also feel like it didn't. I guess from what we saw, I mean, him signing his new contract. I wonder if there's a possible release clause there maybe next season.
From what I saw, I think
a little pay rise. You never know what's going on in these players.
Yeah,
you never know. Maybe he's settled. Maybe he's just happy. Maybe he was told, "Look, you're going to be the man this year." He's look. No disrespect to David Brooks. He's levels above him at this point in that side. So it's great. Bournemouth look really exciting, and Diakite great, Petrovic great, Adley. Let's see. Doak, I'm excited to see him get some consistent game time. But I just think Triffier to sell Kerkez and for 13.5 million euros, bring in Triffier from Rennes, the former captain of Rennes with French caps already, getting into that French side. I just think it's an inspired bit of business, and I'm excited, and I think that's already been proven.
No, and again, I mean, we didn't even mention them selling Dango Ouattara for really good money as well to Brentford. Like they've got very, very good cash in for selling I mean, obviously some of their stars, but guys where Ouattara at some points in his Bournemouth career was on the bench, not even playing at times. He got stuck at left back, I remember, at one time as well.
You know the weird one is Hamid Traore. Hamid Traore, I don't understand whatever happened to him because they brought him in.
Yeah, he was highly rated, wasn't he?
Yeah, from Sassuolo, and now he's gone to Marseille on loan. Who Marseille would buy anyone on.
So they've ended with a minus £63 million net spend, and
not too bad,
bring in the players that they have brought in. They spent 134 million, brought in 197 million in sales, like that, and to arguably leave your squad in a as good place and kind of make money. Like I think it's the top. They're right at the top of the window.
The only thing is there may be a centre back short. That's it. Just another centre back
potentially.
Yes. Well, let's see how they go.
Yeah, that is true. However, Bournemouth fans, if you are watching, and all the fans of every single club in here, let us know how you thought your transfer window got on in the comments below. But Bournemouth, if we had to rank it out of our kind of A, B, C system, where would you put it? I think sales do have to come into it to a degree as well, and they sold very well.
B plus, A minus.
Yeah,
maybe.
I feel quite happy with that.
B, I'll give it a B only because they did lose a lot of
key players.
I'd have been excited to see Huijsen for another season.
Let's go with B plus. Let's go with B plus. I feel like putting it with A maybe sounds a bit too crazy, but I'm very happy with that. Aston Villa then, lads. Let's have a little discussion about them because they didn't do too much for a little while, and then they did do some stuff eventually. We saw Victor Lindelof transfer in from Manchester United. Man United managed to get his wages off the books. Someone that Unai Emery definitely loves if you speak to him in interviews. Michael Bizot in goal. 34-year-old Bizot in goal, that's for sure. Obviously, they ended up keeping Emi Martinez, so we interested to see whether he comes back into the side. Jadon Sancho on the final day coming in on loan. Harvey Elliott as well. It's a loan with an obligation, isn't it, that one?
For 35 million, which I think is
really
really
not too
good.
bad.
I wonder, and I don't know this for sure, I saw some rumours that Liverpool have got like a huge sell-on clause or maybe a buyback clause, which is why that deal was actually quite cheap. You'd imagine, I know it's like late in the window, Liverpool probably like, okay, it's a good option for us, but Elliott was being talked about like 55 million earlier in the window. So I think Villa have...
Never before have I seen the big clubs almost hoarding talent, but having their fingers still in the pie of a player further down the track. Is even if you look at the Tarek George move to Fulham that didn't happen in the end, 22 million, what good fee. Huge sell-on clause. These sell-on clauses and buyback clauses, it's really fascinating to see how the big clubs, Chelsea, City, they're just maintaining a grip on all of this talent in a way which looms over any side that buys one. Even if you look like the Greenwood deal to Marseille, that comes with a mega sell-on clause and stuff like that. They ever let him go. I find that all stuff kind of fascinating. But Elliott, that could be what was a mildly depressing window up to that point, because Guesson from Nice, okay, nice numbers in the French league. Time will tell how good he really is. Lindelof, fine. In the words of my Villa mate, he's going to fill the role that Disasi...
fair.
He's just a bit of depth in that side. They've got Europa League as well.
And they only really lost Jacob Ramsey, right? And at times, he wasn't necessarily playing for Villa anyway.
You could actually argue that they've actually strengthened the squad, but it just took...
It
took a while to get there.
There have been some weird comments, though. Like, when Ramsey left, you saw a couple of the Villa guys on social media about how, like, it's a shame it had to go like this. Essentially saying, like, we would have rather kept you.
Yeah.
And even Tyrone Mings, I think, has said, post the window closing, it was like, oh, thank God that's over. We can now focus on this, because it almost seems like there's a lot of issues behind the scenes there.
Something don't feel right.
No, I agree.
Something don't feel right. And that's kind of reflected in the first few performances.
Yeah, they lost, obviously, 3-0
against Palace.
Palace.
People are going to write that off as well, because like Glasner's got Emery's number, but if you take that away and look at the game, they were terrible. Yeah, they just were really poor. Something just feels... I know this kind of does happen with Emery projects. It does reach a point about 3-4 years in, around that kind of time, where it does tend to start going a bit stale. I don't know whether it's just the same voice, same ideas, same intensity, all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's playing a part. And I do think though that PSR thing probably hung over the squad quite a bit, because they're like, if they're obviously having to sell Ramsey because of that, and that is obviously, like, the players are obviously aware of why the reason that is. That's why you're seeing the Instagram posts you are from John McGinn, etc. In the back of their mind, they might be thinking, we also might lose like Morgan Rogers. Yeah, like we might lose. I know Rogers wouldn't have counted as homegrown, so it's not the same PSR benefit, but it would have been for a huge profit regardless. So they might have been thinking. Obviously, it's really good to keep hold of them, but that would have been in the back of their mind.
Well, they were nearly in the Champions League last year, right? Like they've got every right to be thinking the same group of players. Because again, they didn't sell too many of them. It's still the same kind of squad. Thinking we could be going far this season. We could be challenging again. Obviously, in the European competition that they're in, the Europa League, like they can go far in that.
Yeah, such a winnable
feel like.
competition.
I think losing one of these key assets is worrying.
Keeping him Martinez for another season, I think, is good. And I'm sorry, to be honest, for him, it's a World Cup year. He's going to be playing. He's going to be starting for Argentina anyway. Like, I don't think it's.
It was a weird falling out, wasn't it? Because you saw at the end of the games, he was quite emotional. It almost felt like he was leaving. We then saw obviously Unai Emery's comments as well. It felt like it was a thing that he wanted to move on from.
Well, apparently he said he wanted to play the game at the weekends, which Bizot started. Apparently he was like, look, I want to leave, but I'm happy to play for the club, which is a good sign.
That is a good sign. I mean, look, I always think
storyline.
like when people, Isak was obviously, we'll get onto them later on, but there's been a lot of this kind of drama about a player staying. Mark Gehi again, another one we might
I'll have a
mention
rant
later.
on my sleeves about that, by the way. I'm
Really
wound up about these muppets on Twitter.
Okay.
About it's essentially smug certain group of fan base going, oh well, this just proves you need to be an arsehole to get a move.
Nope.
Let me tell you.
Save it for a minute.
I'm going to explode on that one.
Save
I'm
it.
right there. I'm
Save
right there
it.
with you,
Just
to be
on
honest.
Villa, I think to get Elliott specifically, I think
signing.
that is a inspired move. And Sancho, like, who knows? It could be great.
We're not been saying that about Sancho for the last 3 years.
But if you look, they got rid of Buendia. They got rid of. Did they get rid of Buendia? I think so.
No, I think Buendia's.
All right.
No, Buendia stayed. I think.
I just think if you look at the players that have left, even like Bailey, I think it is a mild upgrade on some.
Do you think with a lot of these, like, and I'm kind of, this is also in the back of my mind about when we talk about Tottenham, because you kind of live through it and live through the process of what's been a very turbulent window. Do you think when you get to the end of it and we do these kind of videos, it is about just judging it at the end of the window, like what's actually happened rather than how it got there? Like if you look at it on paper, like it has been turbulent for them, but if you look at it on paper, they have improved the squad probably, haven't they?
But it is about what I get how like things can go on into the season. Like the drama has happened, and it's also not going to leave them alone either at times. Like,
I think Villa's probably a quite specific example. Whereas I think that's a fair point.
But they are also still. It feels like you always kind of wonder if they're an injury. Like if Morgan Rogers gets out, do they have a bit of issues there? Is Ollie Watkins? I know they've kind of brought in some sort of backup, but essentially it was really, really good for them last season.
Well, this is what I think about Harvey Elliott, because
Rashford did a job.
I do think there were signs last season that this Villa project under Emery was maybe it was because they had the Champions League games and balancing the intensity of that in a competition they actually did do quite well in. But in the league, they massively suffered from like November to January. They went on a really poor run, and then Asensio came in, Rashford came in, and Asensio, like Rashford was good, I thought, but Asensio really kind of lit the touch paper and kind of got them a bit of spark back. And I think Elliott, with his sort of like off-the-cuff decision-making, ability to kind of make things happen, he's not necessarily like a typical Emery player. I think maybe he can give them that a little bit, but you are probably right in the sense that there might be still a little bit of a hangover from the turbulence of the summer, maybe in terms of the squad. Maybe you could argue maybe they did need like one big sale to give them more money just to freshen things up a little bit, but they'll still be much happier that they've kept Rodgers, kept Watkins.
I was wondering whether does Amadou Onana get into their starting 11 right now? Like it's Tielemans and Kamara, isn't it? Really, in those two positions.
I think Kamara is.
They've got him to sign new contracts.
I think with Onana you need more players around him. I think you almost need to play a three-man midfield just to get players a bit closer to him, because if you expose him, then I don't think he's always got the legs to make up that ground. Whereas in a three-man midfield, I think he's exceptional. But in a two, if you're looking at playing a
double pivot,
then I think Kamara, a lot of Villa fans have been saying,
he's amazing.
When he's fully fit, this guy's a proper
and again,
player.
they got him on a new contract. That's a hell of an achievement. But I do just think, like, obviously, they spent a lot of money on Onana a couple of years ago. And if he's not getting to the best side now,
yeah, but he's good.
They do need him as well. A good squad player. They're playing in Europa League. There's going to be a lot of minutes to share as well, so it's definitely not a bad thing.
Scores goals as well.
I was just wondering. Very good for a set piece too, isn't he? Okay, our next club is Arsenal.
I'm giving Villa a C, by the way, because I think too much of their business came late in the window.
C minus, I'd say.
I would say
C. Fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. Well done for remembering that, Henry. That's the second club. I almost forgot. On to Arsenal then, because I think these guys could have probably been one of the clubs that will nominate for winners of the window, possibly. Liverpool maybe being the other. brought in Zumendi early in the window. They got Noni Madueke, Mosquera, Norgard, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Hincapi on the last day. And, of course, to Ben's sadness, let it all work out.
Not anymore, mate. We've failed upwards.
Let it all work out.
Everyche
Eze. Well, we'll get on to a certain Dutchman later on. They spent a lot of money, I think 260 million pounds on these players.
Yeah, a lot of pressure now for him.
Their sales, Nuno Tavares to Lazio. Marquinhos, do you remember him? Marquinhos, the winger.
God, yeah, the winger. Yeah,
he was sold as well. Jakob Kivior going on loan. And Lokonga made his way over to Hamburg with also Jorginho,
300
Partey and Tino leaving for free. Not a lot of money bringing in.
Oh, God, yeah.
In terms of then the incomings, I think they've done really well. Let's be honest here. Like, people might want to criticise certain in terms of profiles of the players, in terms of maybe not bringing in a lights out left winger, but arguably that's where Eze is going to play, you'd like to think. People might say, well, Alexander Isak ended up making the move. Like, could Arsenal have waited longer and tried to move for him instead of Gyökeres? But that was a lot of money to Liverpool. Overall, I think they have done very, very well. I think if they didn't get the Eze deal done, I'd be a little bit more critical of Arsenal's business. But they improved, or at least kept the same squad level in terms of squad rotational players. I think Norgard was a really good acquisition. Mosquera, who we saw come on for Saliba at Anfield, I think did a really, really good job. Even it seemed like Arteta was quite surprised after the 90 minutes at how well he did so quickly. But obviously, with us just a couple of games in already, it does show again that Arsenal are going to have to be dealing with injuries this season to some of their crucial players. Odegaard, obviously, being out. We've seen Saka out. And so it's good to see already their ideas, like bringing in this strong backup right winger in Noni Madueke, coming to fruition. Yep. What do you make of it, Henry?
With Kivior going, and I'm a bit annoyed that Fulham didn't go for someone like Kivior. With him going, then bringing in Mosquera and Hincapi. Yeah. Can you name me a better defence, man for man, in world football? No. Other than that, like PSG maybe, with the strength of their fullbacks. But Lewis Skelly, Timber, who I think is exceptional. Calafiori, who's having a great season so far.
Yeah. Mosquera.
It's just
Hincapi, Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White.
Those are four monstrous centre halves that they've got in, and they're all class. So I think it's really.
But I
think it's a stunning defensive.
I think the midfield is better now than last year, right? Declan Rice and Zubimendi is an unbelievable partnership to have, and then whether it be Everett Eze or Odegaard,
should be Eze.
Really, really good. I think it's just coming down to that left wing position, maybe, where there can be some criticism.
I do think in the games like Sunday, where you can, separate to the window, you can kind of question Arteta's process in that sort of game to maybe be a bit more brave.
Yeah.
I do think in games like where if they are going to kind of take that approach to the bigger games, I do think having a left winger that is going to do more. Then again, though, I think if Saka's back fit, I think Madueke is much. I think the Madueke signing...
Madueke was one of their best players on the weekend, wasn't he?
I think the Madueke signing has aged really well. I think there was a lot of people that were very...
That's good.
Especially if you've seen fees that other wingers go as well.
Yeah. Madueke is a really good player. I just think at the time, people were saying, well, if this is going to be Arsenal's left winger signing, have they spent enough to really move the needle? I think there was fair criticism. And I said at the time, I was like, wait till the end of the window. And now when you look at all the other business they've done, Madueke is such a good signing in my opinion. And maybe I actually think that yeah, in an ideal world for them, maybe instead of signing someone like an Eze, they would have gone out and brought an actual proper winger, so to speak. Because Eze, I think, is more of a wide player that likes to drift inside. But I actually do think...
It's not bad.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's a massive acquisition to the squad, 100%, and good competition for Odegaard, for sure. I actually think Madueke can also, I think he can do that as well.
Yeah.
I think Madueke's
especially after
ceiling
what you
is
saw,
quite high.
Martinelli against Liverpool was poor. And I think even if you're sticking Madueke out...
Madueke's a threat in transition. He's better 1v1 than Martinelli. He likes to get shots off. He's a better finisher than him.
But also, what does Gyökeres feed off as well? Gyökeres obviously likes to go from in behind and stuff, but service. And Madueke in the left wing, he is left-footed. He's arguably in a better position at times to deliver some of these crosses.
When Madueke played, I think it was the last international break. I know it was against Andorra, I want to say.
Yeah.
Madueke played on the left for Tuchel, and I actually thought he played quite well. The Madueke signing has aged really well.
We've always, to be honest. I think we were the same thing. When the signing was made, it was just questions over will they get this left winger, and having spent that money, is that going to work out? Yeah. They got Eze, and so I think is pretty good.
Yeah, so it's a bona fide success, that window. Like they've literally like every position that they probably. It's a window that smacks of a club that does want to be serious. Like in terms of, you can question again, like to the game on Sunday, you can question whether Arteta, like, is that the right approach to really win those games that are going to get you over the line and make the difference? But in terms of how they've acted off the pitch,
and
I think they literally had every position they went for, they've got it.
Everyone keeps going on about Oxlade-Chamberlain's still their biggest sale. It's like, who cares?
I mean, they might have to care soon in terms of maybe like PSR-wise.
They've got loads of money. They're a massive, they're a mega
So
club.
much cash coming into it.
Also, don't write off McDowman just sort of appearing from nowhere and suddenly being
Ethan Nwaneri signing a new contract.
Yeah, those are two huge additions. I'm a bit bored of like people trying to dig out Gyökeres every time he has a bad game. Like, give the guy a chance.
We're 3 games in.
I'm someone who's criticised him, as in I've questioned the transfer, but give him an opportunity to show what he can do, in my opinion. But yeah, 3 games in, I think this is a solid A.
I think A.
Absolutely.
It could be A+. But we'll see on that side of things. Arsenal fans, let us know what you guys think of the window. Are you satisfied, at the very least, with the players that you ended up bringing in? Let's talk about Crystal Palace then, boys, because this is where things, I think, get a little bit interesting. Let's add a little bit of context about the Palace window as well, because I think that is only fair. They obviously had for a long time the big issues around which European competition they're going to be playing in.
Yeah.
Supposedly that's also been a big effect on what players they could attract and bring in. We saw the Diamonde stuff for a long time at the beginning of the window, feeling like he was going to come, and eventually that didn't happen. In terms of sales, Eberechi Eze, we've already mentioned, off to Arsenal. Odsonne Edouard ended up leaving as well. Rob Holding has gone to America. Jeffrey Schlupp as well has moved on. The big one, though, Mark Gehi didn't leave. Gehi didn't leave.
Oliver Glasner.
Also, let's not forget, Joel Ward retired. Absolute icon of
that's a big loss,
club.
actually.
No, indeed. Completely. I'm not saying it like patronisingly. I mean it seriously.
Well, it didn't sound like
and
that.
then, no, I did. I meant it seriously. And then, of course, the guys that have come in. We saw goalkeeper Walter Benitez come in from PSV. I think that's more just like a backup option. Borna Sosa coming in, the left back. JD Canvois. Coming in, from Toulouse, centre half, very young, and then Yeremy Pino, the right winger from Villarreal, coming in for €30 million. Go on then, Henry. Mark Gehi stays.
Just on that Canvo one, I find it so funny. Liverpool fans going online, oh, look, they've signed a replacement. It can happen now. Have you... It's a 19-year-old. He's played 19
replacing
times
the club captain,
for Toulouse.
the icon, basically, of that West Ham side. And one of the most crucial players. He's not the easiest thing to replace.
Gehi acting professionally all summer and not getting his move is not an indication that you need to be a complete prat to get what you want in this day and age.
Well,
Eze, hear me out.
Okay.
Eze got his move because they managed to sign Yeremy Pino. Fundamentally, if Liverpool really wanted to make this happen, they'd have been very clear about it early on, instead of leaving it to the last day.
Well, they were trying to get for cheap as well, weren't they?
People going, Palace are going to miss out on £35 million now. Palace are bigger than one transfer fee that they're going to receive. There is no telling how losing their club captain might impact their entire season, which is exactly what Glasner is the point he was trying to make. Because if you look at that Palace squad, beyond the starting 11 and maybe a couple of guys on the bench, it's not that deep.
No, it's not.
And it's particularly not that deep as centre-half.
Adam Wharton's now injured as well.
Wharton's injured as well. To go to Lacroix, you're going to be our starting main man for the whole season, is a lot of pressure. Yeah. Gehi will get his move at some point. He is not in a bad situation.
Yeah, he's not.
He has another year, probably 6, let's be honest, 6 months at Crystal Palace, where he's going to play European football.
You can buy him in January as well.
You can buy him in January. He's not leaving the England team.
No.
He's probably...
Starting.
He's probably first choice centre-half at this point with John Stones... in and out of fitness.
He definitely is.
Gehi is in a fine situation. I appreciate he's missed out on a dream move to Liverpool, where there's no guarantee he would have just walked into that side over Konate. I think kudos to Glasner, kudos to Steve Parish for listening. These players sign contracts, which stipulate you have to be at a club for a certain period of time by a contract. We cannot be endorsing the idea that you can just kick up a fuss, refuse to play, and get what you want in this situation. There are ways of going about it, and I actually think the club is bigger than the player in this instance. The club is bigger than the player, and Glasner, quite rightly, because I think he will leave at some point, Glasner quite rightly has said, look, if you sell him without bringing in a replacement, which they couldn't do, some reason, I don't know what's going on with the guy that went to West Ham, then this is ridiculous. This is bigger than a transfer. This is bigger than a transfer fee that you're going to receive. So everyone's just narrowing in the Isak example. Let's not forget, they managed to get Vista in the end. They managed to get Voltemada. If you look at the Vista situation, Brentford ended up getting £30 million more than they originally offered in that situation.
I think the issue is, I understand what people are saying though. Like, essentially, if you're someone, how many players have kicked up a fuss and not left in recent years? Like, I know traditionally there are. Like, we've seen the Suarez debate when Arsenal were coming in for him. There are plenty of people who have kicked up a fuss over the years.
Well, Harry Kane.
Harry Kane
pretty much refused to train with Tottenham, and then the club dug their heels in and said, "You're not going anywhere."
But it does feel like recently, in the last 2 years or so, that players that do kick up a fuss, they do end up getting the move. And I will say, to be fair, a lot of these clubs have generally managed to make it beneficial for them in terms of getting them money. I think that's one of the biggest things for Palace, is they were kind of getting a little bit screwed over how long it was taking and how long it took
Liverpool's fault
to make it a bid.
I totally agree.
If they want to get him, they could have gone from him.
Yeah.
Or lined up an alternative target. At the end of the day, like anyone who was probably looking at Mark Gahey this summer, they tried to take advantage of a market opportunity for a player with 1 year left in his contract, thinking they could get him on a cut price deal. Mark Gahey's market value is probably way closer to double what Liverpool were prepared to pay for him. £70 million for England's starting centre-half would probably be fair, in my opinion, for a player of his quality and leadership skills. Liverpool tried to take advantage of a market opportunity, got burnt because Palace didn't have a replacement. That's on Liverpool at the end of the day. Mark Gahey was open to staying at Crystal Palace all summer because of exactly what you said. He benefits from this situation as well. Yes, there were reports coming out that he probably wasn't happy because the rug got pulled from underneath him on deadline day. I can understand that, of course. But at the end of the day, it's still down to the club to make that decision. Mark Gahey will get over it over the next couple of weeks, will get his head down at Crystal Palace because he knows he's going to walk away in the summer probably, because I think he probably will stay the whole season.
Make a nice little signing on fee somewhere.
Exactly. Like, he's painting out Mark Gahey to be some sort of victim at the end of the day. And it's only Liverpool fans saying that he's been denied of his dream move because they wanted him.
Yeah.
Like, it's because Liverpool... Of course... You could make the argument that a dream move is moving to the Premier League champions who've just gone and spent £400 million in a window and shown insane ambition, of course. But you don't know that's Mark Gahey's dream move. His dream move might be go back to Chelsea or somewhere else, or Real Madrid.
Guess what?
Well, rumours apparently Real Madrid are now going to keep an eye on it.
It's just like, I don't get it. It's just like this whole narrative, like you just said, and I didn't really think about it that much. All of the focus is on Isak and Wissa, and Gyökeres as well kind of kicked up a bit of a fuss as well. But Eze didn't. Eze was prepared to pay for Crystal Palace in that European game, and he didn't at the end because Arsenal got the deal over the line. Eze played the whole time, did not kick up a fuss, did not do any sort of, there's still examples where players get the move. At the end of the day, Liverpool should have moved a lot quicker, and that deal would have got done. Liverpool's only official bid came in for Gahey over the weekend. That's Liverpool's fault at the end of the day. You can argue in a very basic term that it does set a dangerous precedent for players being able to kick up a fuss and get what they want. I get that. That's not fair. And ultimately, Mark Gahey acting as a consummate professional, I understand you can make that debate. But at the end of the day, the club still hold the power. And Gahey was open to all options. That's why he didn't kick up a fuss.
Yeah.
Because it's in his interest to also sit there for a year.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
According to BBC, as you kind of touched on there, Zach, every major European agent club is going to be knocking on Gahey's door. Barca, Bayern, Real Madrid's, Italian clubs maybe, I don't know. But the point is, he's in a
the world at his feet.
He's not an old dog for a centre half. He's got. This is fine. This is fine, and it's Liverpool's fault. And Ben, I completely agree with every single thing you've said.
Out of ABCD, where do we put Villa's? Because Palace is not amazing.
Just quickly on Yeremy Pino, really fun player.
Yeah.
Enjoyed him at Villarreal for a long time.
Good deal as well.
That
was initially mooted at like €50 million, wasn't it?
You look at his numbers, and they're not exceptional, but Villarreal winger numbers have never particularly been successful. But again, it's a very trustworthy place to go and buy a footballer. You're often exporting their like big best talent. So yeah, I think Yeremy Pino for 30 million, some kind of replacement. I think that's really one to watch down the track this season. It's a CD maybe because they lost one of their best players.
But they kept Smart Gahey, which isn't a bad thing.
Kept Mateta as well. There was really about Mateta.
Mateta's that's a very good shout.
Every player was kind of linked with a move away, as is the case when you've got a club like Palace, who kind of
They haven't lost in like 14, 15 games.
The
It's
longest
unbelievable.
unbeaten run.
They're
Premier
not
League.
an easy team to
What
play
a
against right
manager.
now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, then our next club, we're going to Nottingham for it and heading into the Forest.
Nice.
There's a lot of players quickly get through here, so let me just speed run. Sold, Anthony Elanga, Danilo, Roman Sosa, Andrew Ombadile. I hope I said that right. Ombadile. Apologies. Matt Turner, Carlos Miguel, Lewis O'Brien. And then they brought in Omari Hutchinson was their most expensive signing.
Left out the Europa
Dan
League
Ndoye, Backward, the right winger from Strasbourg.
That's a good signing.
Callum Wendo came in as well. Fucking great signing. James McAtee from Man City. Igor Jesus. Well, the Botafogo four lads. Igor Jesus. We also saw
Nothing dodgy about
Jar Cunha, John Victor.
I didn't realise it was four.
Cubiano as well coming in, the left back. Dudlux Luiz on loan. They also brought in a right back from Juventus called Nicolo Savona. And Angus Gunn came
got
in.
Zinchenko.
And
Zinchenko
Zinchenko
as well,
happened
which
on
I
the
didn't-
final day.
I did not know
On
that.
the final day. Yeah, on the deadline day, Zinchenko made it their way in there.
Christ.
A lot of players in there. There's also rumours around Nuno at the moment, and the owner of Forest as well, Marinakis. I don't know why I thought I said it wrong.
Mr. Marinakis to you, actually.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Marinakis to me. There's rumours there. I mean, they lost Anthony Elanga, who was one of their most crucial players, I think. In terms of the other sales, they've not lost out too much. Didn't really play a little bit. I think they've done a pretty good job. I'm interested to see how Omari Hutchinson works on that side.
Just he's been left out of the Europa League squad.
He's already been left out of the Europa League squad. Yes, I think that's an interesting move to do, and that's where I think things can get interesting. There's been a lot of talks about whether some of these signings are basically just like the ownership signings compared to what maybe Nuno wanted, and we saw as well Nuno's quotes before the season started about how he was like, this is not good. We have not been prepping well for this season. I'm really disappointed with how this has gone on. So it does seem like there's a real clash of heads at the moment between them. But Forest do look okay at the moment in the league.
Well,
They've definitely added...
Got pumped by West Ham.
They did get pumped by West Ham, actually.
Weird
not too
game,
bad.
that,
They
though.
started the season all right. James McAtee, I think, is a really interesting signing to play in midfield. Callum Wendo, I think, is a very, very... Is someone I was linking actually to, I think, the Spurs.
We were linked with him very early
in the window. They've obviously Ndoye as well. I think it's a very, very good signing from Bologna. Do we think the squad then has improved since last season?
Yes.
Yeah, on paper, 100%. Yeah.
But are we worried about kind of maybe this being a thing that pushes out Nuno?
What they've done-
Will Jose be managing them in a month's time?
What they've done is stack the attack.
It did need a little bit of help, the attack, though.
It did. And I wonder, though, is that the system or is that the lack of players that he had at his fingertips last season? Because I think it's a tall ask to go to Nuno, change your whole style now, because I know what you did last year, but actually we want to play more aggressive attacking football, and we're going to these are all the players you're going to go and do that with. I'm interested to see. I do like a lot of these signings. I think Ndoye's been brilliant so far. He's been a really great addition.
I like Backward as well. Tricky winger, very direct.
Really.
And I mean, Ndoye's been very, very good. Very, very good so far in the league. I mean, Chris Wood looks like he still score goals, which is very good.
Zach, it's a lot of players. It's a lot of players.
It is a lot of players.
It's a lot of. And
But don't we say that about Forest almost every 2 years? Like they'll have one window, they calm down for a bit. Then the next window, they go crazy.
It's a really hard window to rate, I think, because it's just like there are so many signings.
Alanga was crucial to them last season. Absolutely very, very crucial to them last season. That was a big player to lose out on, but they got a very good transfer fee for him. But they didn't necessarily lose out on too many others. I think the quad players coming in from Botafogo is interesting.
Zinchenko.
I mean, mainly the Igor Jesus, who was highly rated as well. Played obviously at the Club World Cup too.
Igor Jesus is the main man in that section of Botafogo players. He was the starting forward up front. Yeah. He went to the Qatari Stars League or the UAE League, and he scored tons of goals there, came back. He's not a goals kind of striker, but he is a very busy, sort of old school number 9 who's going to put himself about. So it'll be interesting to see if he can be a good foil to Chris Wood, because obviously we saw Owoni.
Callum Wendo as well, can also play up top.
3
camp on the
competitive
wings
strikers
too.
now, yeah.
I think
they're
that
all
is a
kind
real
of a
big
similar level
improvement.
as well. I mean, Chris Wood's obviously Premier League.
If you want to rank the window then A, B, C, D, what are we saying? I think it's probably a B. Genuinely, I mean, we'll be interested to see how many of those players end up starting for Forest.
Nervous B for me.
Maybe a B minus. We'll go with a B minus to keep us.
I'm apprehensive because I do feel like I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going with B- as far
Keeping
as...
Gibbs White as well and signing a new contract. Like,
Very good
I
point.
do think, like, I was...
Did he sign it?
Well, yeah, it's forced to
Was he
sign a new
forced to sign
contract. But I do think sometimes we do forget that... I was listening to Johan Lang, Spurs' technical director, kind of doing a wrap-up of the window yesterday, and he was kind of saying that we almost need to kind of start looking at players signing new contracts almost as part of the window.
I
in a
think
way.
that's a good point.
Obviously, you're going to say that kind of good PR from the club. I get that, but it's probably fair, I think.
No, it's a good idea.
Just on Marinakis, you remember we used to do those explains at Football Daily? The only time that I've ever been asked to remove a video from YouTube is my explained on Marinakis, where I basically talked about everything that everyone else talks about. Yeah. And then we got an email from Forest saying, Mr. Marinakis has watched your video. Yep. He was like, you failed to mention his charity work. Like, why?
Really? Oh, sorry.
Did not know we were going to bring that up. Did happen. Did happen.
It did happen. I just find it so funny that like it went to the top.
Mr. Marinakis,
Very
if you're watching
money
this,
to Botafogo.
if you're watching this, Henry wrote that, not me.
I watched his Sky Sports interview. I thought it was quite interesting.
No, it is. Over to West London then, because we've still got a bunch of clubs to get through. Chelsea, the salesman, some would say. The best sellers in the world.
Yeah, but
they can do it.
It's important to remember that you bought all these players in the first place.
Yeah.
I was like, look why they're selling it.
Sellers.
No,
let's go
These
through
players
it.
didn't just sport.
Let's go through it. Lucas Bergstrom, gone. Ben Chilwell, gone. Alfie Gilchrist, gone. Marcus Bettinelli, gone. Kepa Arrizabalaga, gone. Bashir Humphreys, officially gone. Amugu, how many games did he play? Gone to Strasbourg.
Nothing
Nicholas
remotely
Jackson,
weird about that one.
Nicholas Jackson to Bayern Munich, loan fee, but then gone for what will be around 70 million quid. Carney Chukwuemeka, gone. Armando Broja, gone. Renato Vega, gone. Kieran Dewsbury, gone. Leslie Ugochukwu, gone. Petrovic, gone. João Felix, gone. Nkunku, gone. And Madueke, gone. Incomings is, well, Kendry Payer's already there.
Like a
and
whole
so
school
was
year.
Esteval.
Didn't
but
register.
Mamadou Sarr came to Chelsea, now gone on loan back to Strasbourg. Dario Asugo in midfield from Sporting at the squad, or in the squad. Liam Djellab comes from Ipswich. Joro Hato from Ajax. Alejandro Garnacho happened on one of the final days of the window. Jamie Gittins and João Pedro also joining Chelsea. Lots of players coming and going, guys, in that squad. Have Chelsea got better, Ben?
Yeah. I've got a headache looking at all this. I think so. I mean, I think João Pedro is a really good signing.
Yeah. They've got a lot of quality midfield now, I think. I say
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Andre Santos, Asugo in midfield.
What did you, at the start of the window, Zach, as a Chelsea nut, what did you fundamentally want to improve in the team?
Striker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Striker.
Done that.
I think we need a left back cover, genuinely.
Have you got that?
And Hato, I would say, is left back cover. And then I would have said maybe a starting centre back and a goalkeeper.
Okay, so
in
no
all
goalkeeper, no starting centre back. No. There's a lot of names here, and I think João Pedro is a brilliant signing. Gittins, I don't even know how much we're going to see of him this year.
I think there's a lot of people would have said left wing as well. Some people would have said left wing.
Well, Garnacho, finally seeing Esteval, but I don't even count that as a signing this year. It's not actually a huge number of major first-team additions.
Yeah.
It's a small number. I think João Pedro could be a major difference maker. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. But it's not... There's so many names, and yet not much has actually happened.
Cole getting injured as well so early in the... Well, and for what feels like could be a long time in the season, is a real downer for Chelsea too.
I was amazed that you didn't go and... I thought Chelsea would push the button on Gehi.
I really did as well, mate. I know there are some Chelsea fans out there that aren't as amazed by Gehi, and I think, absolutely whatever you want to believe is fine. But I felt like Gehi was just like such a win-win.
No-brainer.
Literally a no-brainer, a banker. Like, he is from the club. He's homegrown. He's a leadership figure in the dressing room. He's got great experience. One of England's best centre-backs. He's brilliant on the ball. He can play in different kind of ways, in a 3-back or a 4-back. Like, it just ticked every box for me. And it really blew my mind that didn't happen, which makes me kind of think, like, did Gehi want it to happen?
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of rumours that Chelsea would look at him and then nothing happened from it. And I wonder if maybe Gehi just thought, you know what, like, by the time at Chelsea's done, I don't want to join and then like there'd be like whether I'm battling for Fana and all that. Maybe, but I don't know for sure.
Can we play a quick game of profit or loss on these sales players? I'm intrigued. Okay, so Madueke, 56 million euros.
Profit.
Yeah. Nkunku, 37 million.
Loss.
João Felix, 30 million.
Loss.
Is that not rising to 50 though? If on certain things.
Loss.
Anyway,
Loss.
loss.
But I mean, the fact you got money out of him is unbelievable. Petrovic, 28.9 million.
Profit.
Yeah. Ugachukwu,
Profit.
Dewsbury Hall,
Level.
About the same. Yeah.
about the same. Minor loss, I'd say. Vega,
Profit. Double profit.
yeah, good.
He'll know about
Broya, 23 million.
I was right.
Profit.
I won.
Broya, 23 million is an unbelievable deal. Chukwuemeka, 20 million.
that. Isn't it
About the same.
Yeah, okay, about the same.
About the same. Probably a sell-on clause as well. Jackson,
Profit.
Profit.
yeah, it's unbelievable. Amugu, I'm assuming that's profit.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's gone to Strasbourg.
Fuck you now.
Humphreys, profit. Arifa Balaga,
Loss.
Big loss.
big
No, if you
loss.
take the wages.
Bettinelli, 2.4 million. Unbelievable. and then Chilwell lost. It's not all. My point is, everyone goes, "Oh wow, look, they've sold all these players." Not for a huge.
I think
profit.
profits were winning there though.
Well, yeah.
No,
it's
I agree.
interesting.
Okay, but my point more so is, do you think Chelsea have got better? And Ben believes so in certain ways. I won't say they've got like title contending. Like
give it a B.
it hasn't made them.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things I thought, what I'd like to see what Chelsea will do this window is, are they going to go out there in the window and go like, you know what, now we're going to try and make sure we're a title contender. And I think definitely Chelsea will have an aim to challenge for the title, but I do wonder whether they, like if they went and got, I don't know, if they got Gehi, I think that is a shout to be like, okay, they're meaning business here. If they went and got a goalkeeper, like I remember someone said it in the Football Daily chat about like they didn't get a goalkeeper, and I kind of replied with, who though? Like, who's the goalkeeper you go and get that everyone goes like, is he?
Him from the start of the window.
Is he? Like, Mike Maignan played
He's
against
got to
Chelsea.
be better than Sanchez.
I don't know if, genuinely, Mike Maignan played against Chelsea in a friendly, looked really poor. Mike Magnan's not been great for 2 years now.
Well,
like, I think there's an
you
argument
could have
about
waited
that.
and got Donnarumma. You know.
Yeah.
But is he, like, again, like, especially for
Is he better than Robert Sanchez? Yes, he is.
How many goals did he concede in the Club World Cup final?
I'm not being funny.
come on.
And one of the big, again, I'm kind of taking the mick here, but one of the biggest issues for, especially for the goalkeeper route, is like genuinely the ball at the feet. Donnarumma can't do.
I honestly hate this so much. And I thought we'd moved on from this, actually. If you're a good shot stopper, you're a good keeper.
Sanchez is a good shot stopper.
He's not as good as Donnarumma.
No.
Donnarumma,
For sure,
Donnarumma, Courtois is the only one I think comes close to him when it comes to being on his line, making saves.
Yeah. Donnarumma's a match winner and potentially a title winner.
Did you watch the Champions League last year? Did you watch?
I have, but I've also watched Donnarumma in the
watch him
years
against-
leading up to that.
Did you watch him against Chelsea, Liverpool in the big games?
No,
last
I agree.
year?
I mean, he had a
was
very good
fucking
year.
monster.
He had a very good year last year, and again, like that's a good sign to what could be.
He's the most intimidating penalty shootout goalkeeper in the world.
But I've seen, for sure. I actually don't disagree with that. But I have seen Donnarumma make a lot of mistakes.
Well, guess
You've seen every
who
goalkeeper.
I've seen make more mistakes?
But my
Robert
point-
Sanchez.
Look at West Ham
no.
with Paqueta. He just like flies past
I
him.
cannot
But-
believe you're trying to argue that you
I'm
wouldn't. I
not
can't believe you
arguing.
brought up that you wanted to buy a new goalkeeper and you're poo-pooing the idea of Donnarumma
I
because he
am
can't
poo-pooing.
play
No, I am
a
poo-pooing.
25 swaz
No,
outside
genuinely,
the
I am
pass.
pooping because it's so crucial. Like he could be conceding goals because of it.
Yeah, but
Like that's one of the things about it. Like Sanchez concedes goals from it, but Sanchez is better at it than
yeah, but also,
Donnarumma.
if you'd have signed a starting centre back as well, that would have been good with his feet. That alleviates a lot of those problems on Donnarumma anyway, because he can just play it short to one of the centre backs and they can play through the lines.
Well, proof will be in the pudding on that one.
I just think that,
We'll see.
I do actually. When
I mean,
you
he's
think
gone to
about it,
Man
when you look at
City,
it on
so-
paper, I think it's because so much of the transfer window has been dominated by Chelsea. Every day it's Chelsea linked with this player, whether it's coming or going, Garnacho every single day, blah blah blah. All of it's been about Chelsea. When you actually look at it on paper, there are quite big issues that you haven't addressed and doubled down on positions where maybe you didn't actually need the players.
Yeah, agreed. B.
Really? In which sense? Sorry.
Did you need to sign Garnacho? Would you have sacrificed one of Garnacho or Gittins to get in a centre half or a goalkeeper?
Gittins seems
Yes,
like a completely
yes.
pointless.
Sure, I agree, and I like Gittins. I just think.
But is that not just the left wingers now? My point is like, is that not our two left wingers? Do you remember what I was saying to you before about how like he wants two players for each position? Is that
But
not the left
Neto
wingers?
plays
Neto
in
can-
there.
You know what? Who's not included, by the way? Buonanotte. We didn't say. Buonanotte.
Yeah, and Buonanotte, who said he was really excited to play Champions League football. Guess what? You're not playing Champions League football because you're not in the squad for it. So your links with Strasbourg need to be talked about. That meme of Todd Bowley, like,
Yeah. Do you want to buy his player?
yes, I do. That's so funny. That is honestly bonkers. I think it's a B. I think Gittins was
I
think Gittins is a marginally unnecessary bit of business.
And to be fair, what I said about the centre half, I do actually think Hatter. I think he's got the ability to be a starting centre half, but Chelsea maybe see him more as a left back who can make. I don't know.
He's both, isn't he?
A jury's out. B,
Yeah.
definitely the squad's improved for sure, but I still think it's a bit like Man United. Like I think you've addressed you spent a lot of money, and actually haven't addressed maybe some of your biggest blind spots.
Yeah, again, I'd kind of go back to the goalkeeper thing, saying, I don't know, like, name me who. Like, okay.
Mannion, Donnarumma, both.
Mike Mannion, definitely not. Mike Mannion, definitely not.
And also, that's funny because at the start of the window, you were all in on Mike Mannion.
Yeah, and then as I started playing against Chelsea,
one
I thought
highlight
this guy's
reel,
not so good
no.
He's not so good anymore. And also, the other thing with Donnarumma was his wages. His wages are astronomical. His wages are genuinely huge. And
this is the thing. Does Todd Bowley...
No,
does he want to win the league with Chelsea? Does he actually want to win the league with Chelsea? Does he want to win the Champions League? Are you making the sort of moves that you should be making where you're at in this project, where to actually move the needle, or are you just
But what does
playing
that
Moneyball?
mean? Like, I think he has. Like, I think Pedro is another upgradable signing.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we've
Pedro's
seen...
a really good signing. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think it's all a bit. Maybe it just all is a bit.
But who are
Moneyball.
these
Like,
guys? Who are these signings then that would win the league? Like, who are these signings that win the league for Chelsea out there that we're talking about? Who then also don't break a wage structure supposedly?
Maybe I don't know.
It's an interesting one. They're going at B.
Let's see what
Let
happens.
us know your thoughts in the comments below for Chelsea. Again,
I'll be there when
I'm not
Chelsea
going to
finish
sit
fifth.
here. I'm not going to sit here and say, is it fifth?
Nah, I'm joking.
I'm not going to sit there and absolutely rave about it, but I don't think it's maybe as bad as some would say. Newcastle United, then. Let's leave the Alexander Isak stuff for the majority of it for Liverpool.
Thank God.
But they brought in some signings. We spoke about Langer's come in, Johan, Visser's come in, Jacob Ramsey's come in, Thiaw Chow from AC Milan, Aaron Ramsdale on loan that I think might eventually also become a permanent, and then the big boy
Nick
Voltemada. Go on, Hennes.
I got a very good about reception on Twitter for saying that Stuttgart had Newcastle's pants down with this one. 4,000 likes. Thank you very much.
Little banger.
And 200 very angry Newcastle fans having a go at me. I stand by it. Like, as in, I'd rather pay that much for him than the massive overpay for Johan Visser in many ways. Yeah. But the point of what I was saying is, it is a huge amount of money for a guy he had like 1 year in the third division of the Bundesliga 3, and then he had the Bundesliga last year. He is... When you watch him, he's really good.
And it also kind of doesn't make sense what he's so good at, because considering his size, really good ball at his feet,
dance,
like
great
dribble, genuinely great touch for a big lad. Like it's like you look at him and you think of traditionally like Peter Crouch. It doesn't make sense of how it works.
It's so good.
But he is genuinely really impressive.
Like his touch is like velvet. Like I am with Henry though. I do think it was a panic buy. Yeah. Not to say that it's a bad signing. It's not. I think he's a good player that can actually. As a kind of facilitator.
It also showcases this panic buying the fact that they went for about 5 different players before him and didn't get them.
Yeah, I'm amazed that they didn't go for him earlier. My point is, with the Isak money, they've got Visser and Voltemada basically cost for cost. And my point, and the whole overspend thing is, if you consider the struggles that Newcastle have with PSR and their struggles to make the signings they want to make, if you had 30 million extra in the bank, if you had 30, 40 million extra in the bank, you could go and address another position in your squad. Yeah. As in, they've spent all of their money on these 2 guys. And I think this is good.
Well, they also brought in Alanga, and they also brought in Rams. They brought in the right winger they needed.
I'm not that hot on Alanga for the price they paid for him.
Okay, but they also brought in a centre back, and they brought in Ramsey because they did need some help in midfield. Like, I don't think they've done too bad, genuinely.
I just don't know if Alanga. I've been on an Alanga thing all summer. I really like him as a player. I do like him, but is he enough of a difference maker? I don't know. Whistle was a big overpay. Brentford have had Newcastle's pants down with that. £55 million on.
But again, just like how we spoke about others, Brentford knew the price they wanted. They waited as long as possible to do it. Yeah. Like, I think it's fair enough.
It's funny how just out on the last day out of nowhere, went, all right, we'll pay that. Yeah, sure. Let's just get over the line.
It's almost like Isak was always leaving.
yeah, kind of. And they lost, in terms of their losses, like Isak was one, Lloyd Kelly, he's already gone. Sean Longstaff went to Leeds.
I hope he's a success, I like Longstaff.
He was good against Newcastle on Saturday from what I saw.
No, he was.
I'm not as everyone's enjoys jumping on Newcastle this season. I don't think they're nearly as bad or in a bad position as people.
And remember as well,
definitely not.
You know what I'm very interested to see Voltemada under? Eddie Howe.
This is what I was going to say. I do think as much as we can talk about the price and do I think Elanga is enough of a difference maker, and does he offer that kind of maybe off the cuff creativity that maybe Newcastle are missing and could struggle with when they come up against teams that are going to sit in? It feels very much like they've doubled down on their style, which is backing the manager for sure in terms of bringing in players that are just so strong on transition and can kind of eat teams up. Like I think you saw Elanga cause Kirk's problems against Liverpool. However, like I said, I do think they might run into trouble, but I do think though that even though they've paid a lot of money for Voltemada, they have a lot of Newcastle signings. Pretty much every signing they've made under Eddie Howe has been a success in some way or another. So I do back them to, in terms of, like, Eddie Howe's not interested in the price. Eddie Howe's interested in what can I get this player doing on the pitch. And I do actually think if you... Because you have to strip it away to an extent. I do think that Voltemada will be a good signing for Newcastle. I think Elanga will be a good signing for Newcastle.
Ramsey, I think under Eddie Howe will be really good.
Yeah,
Energy coming off the bench, Ramsey, I think will be good. Like,
got playing Champions League games as well.
People just overlook how good the rest of their squad is. Like, Bruno against Liverpool was
unbelievable.
He's such a good player.
I wonder whether Bruno will be there next summer.
Well, potentially, but he loves playing for Newcastle.
Yeah, he does.
He's properly settled up there. Tonali as well. People really forget the depth of strength that exists. And Livramento and Hall, a fullback, when they hit full speeds, it's a really...
Even like Harvey Barnes is a good squad player.
He is a good squad player.
Completely agree.
Once Voltemada and Visser hit their strides, I think we're going to see a pretty positive Newcastle.
For sure, yeah.
So
like I said, I still think they do have issues. Like I do think there's a lack of kind of bona fide like creativity in that team that could offer them something different against teams that they might traditionally struggle against. That's why I wasn't massive on Elanga. But that's the last I'll say on it now, and I'll just be like, he's a good player, it's a good signing.
It's a B for me, because to spend the amount of money they've spent, and sort of, it's a stunning amount of money, but B.
I agree.
Eye-watering, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay then, let's go over to Fulham. Henry, I'm just going to let you take it from here, because you did end up making some signings.
We've got Kevin.
And you did make some, but you made some sales as well. Obviously, Andreas Pereira, gone.
I actually didn't even know that until deadline day.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't either.
I was thinking, going, why
is he not playing?
Why is he?
Where is he?
Palmeiras. He's gone to Palmeiras.
He's been wanting that for ages.
Carlos Vinicius, gone. Willian, gone. Reece Nelson didn't come back. Okay then, talk to me about your big boy, Kevin, because that's kind of it.
So we got
Chukwueze as well, to be fair.
It says here that we got Kusiasare in the end.
Yeah.
Can someone just validate that? Because I read that I hadn't gone through in the end.
I'll have a look while you talk about Fulham.
Okay, yeah. Listen, everyone, I saw Joe and Neve gave us like an F on Sky Sports. I think that Fulham's transfer committee is run by university students, because they've been sat around. They've been sat around all summer doing absolutely nothing. And then suddenly, also, just quickly on Lecomte, this was given by The Athletic, like 140 out of 155 of transfers of the summer. Our reserve keeper last year, who's gone to Millwall, Bender, was rubbish, like categorically crap. This guy's 350 League One appearances, and we've bought him in for €500,000 as a backup to Bernardo. If you actually know what you're talking about, it's a very good bit of business to get Lecomte in. I feel sorry. The thing is, he's been made a bit of a banter signing because he was the only one we bought in for most of the window. Chukwueze, he needs a bit of love. I'm really excited to see what Chukwueze could do. I've been hot on him. I think I've pushed him to a few teams before on this podcast, Zach. Chukwueze. Kevin, I'm not going to sit here and say I've been watching the Ukrainian league lots, but from everything I've seen on Twitter, well, you say that for a Shakhtar sale, it's not like it's not
for
out
a Brazilian Shakhtar sale as well. Especially, that's giving me good vibes. I'm really excited about
If
that.
Chelsea had bought this guy from Palmeiras, which is where he came from originally, we wouldn't be batting an eyelid at this. We'd be going, they bought another exciting young Brazilian. I've seen Palmeiras Brazilian fans have been saying this guy's class. Ukrainian fans have been saying on Twitter, this guy is really good, and his work rate as well. He's not just give me the ball and let me do something. He works in the Harry's.
Is he a 10 or a winger?
He's everything, mate.
He's
it's Kevin. It's Kevin.
As long as Josh King's playing.
We've bought a Brazilian called Kevin. I don't know what else I need to say. It's super exciting. So it's still like a D this window, because it took until the dying hours of the window to make anything happen. Yeah. And you cannot understate. There's 3 games gone already. Guess what? We're in the relegation zone at the moment. I'm not saying we're going to stay there, because we played good football and we were robbed against Chelsea for some absolutely batshit decisions. And then Josh King has stepped up, which I said look out for him this year.
Yeah, he did.
He's
Unbelievable. Looks
really good.
Unreal.
Didn't I tell you? I said young kid to look out for.
You did.
And then this
just got the pat on the back.
Kusi Asare, I said I wanted another centre forward as a backup to Jimenez because I really don't think that him and Muniz is going to go down the track this year. Kusi Asare, there's a reason we've had to pay €4 million for him. So many teams wanted him as a backup striker. He's 18 or 19. He's Swedish. He's massive, and he's got silky feet as well. So I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. I don't know where he's going to play, but watch out for this one. The other one thing I'd say on Kevin as well is Sporting were trying to get him at the end of the window for 40. Sporting were willing to pay a record fee to bring him in. And that, for me, is indicative of someone... Like, they're not idiots.
The cosign.
Yeah. He had a look at rainy London that
good.
day. He had a look at rainy London, and he had a look at Lisbon, where he could go and speak Portuguese, and he thought, I want the cottage. And that says to me, Kevin's got ambition, man.
And bigger wages.
Yeah.
It's a solid D, though, because it took way too long for
This is the thing, it's kind of what I was saying at the start. It's like, it's almost like two separate ratings when you kind of judge it like in context and just on paper. Like, on paper... That's a good window, and Fulham probably improved their squad and start 11. However, the way it took you to get there, it's kind of...
We needed another centre half, because if Bassi or Anderson gets injured, you've got Issa Diop, and this Cuenca guy's not good.
Yeah.
We needed another centre half, and I'd have taken another centre mid as well, because we're really light in midfield now.
Fair enough.
Especially Pereira's gone.
Now Pereira's gone, again, like Luke.
He played a lot of minutes.
Berg,
I think he signed a new contract.
Sander Berg is great. I love
Such
him.
a good player.
But him and Lukic, and basically relying on Tom Kearney to pull another rabbit out of the hat this year. Yeah. So it's a D because I think we're still quite short.
Okay, then over to Brighton, and we'll quickly go through a few of their sales. Obviously, Igor went to West Ham. Tarek Lamptey has left the club. Buonanotte went on loan to Chelsea, as we mentioned. João Pedro left, and Dingra left, and Ciso left. Estupinan left, and Ferguson left to join Roma. Matt O'Reilly left to go to Marseille. And
where did Enciso and Barco go?
A really, really interesting club in France called Strasbourg. Interesting to see. To be fair,
do these players know where Strasbourg is? Yeah. It's like some mountainous town.
Exactly. They want to focus football.
It's lovely, but I don't know. These players are just rocking up to this kind of sleepy mountainous village. I don't understand. I find it so funny, man.
Barco, to be fair, I think he actually went to them in January on loan, and now the official transfer is done.
Lamptey to Fiorentina for €6 million. It's one of the best pieces of business.
I really hope. I hope he can stay fit as well, because he's really struggled with injuries over the years.
In a world of mental transfer fees, the fact they've just got him for $6 million, I think, is so good. And then Ciso for 18.5, it makes zero sense to me.
Well,
like, what is
we'll
going
see him
on?
in Chelsea blue next year, won't we? Okay, and then the guys they brought in was Olivier Boscaglia, the centre back who we've already seen come on. De Jong Yoon come from Korea, they're a right winger. Diego Capola, another centre back from Hellas Verona. Tom Watson came from Sunderland, the left winger who obviously scored such a crucial goal for Sunderland in the playoff final. Maxim De Seifa, the left back, come from Club Brugge, and Costaloles. Oh my God, yes, him. My tongue's not quite working. Coming from Olympiacos. They also got the other guy back in January, who's officially joined as well now. Simas, who's joined the squad too. What do you think? Because this kind of window for Brighton seems a few more about defensive signings and reinforcements, which I think they do need, or did need, than maybe the front line, because they have had a lot of attacking players sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet with this, but everything I said about Brighton, it's sort of come true, because they've been so random already in the first 3 games. Beat City, but then have looked really weird. Like drew against us at home, beat City at home, and I think they lost their second game against Everton at the Hill Dickinson. Yeah, it's again, like I look at these, it's so hard to say that Watson's hardly played any football. De Kuyper's come in and played pretty consistently. Kostulas, try as you might.
He played in the Carabao, didn't he? Or was that to Simas?
Simas got 2 goals and assists in the Carabao. Like Henry said, the only player that's actually the only new signing that's consistently played in the league is De Kuyper. The rest, Coppola's sat on the bench every game. Came off the bench, I think, in the last minute against City. I'm pretty sure Boscagli is the same. I'm pretty sure he's not played the league.
Came off the bench.
So it's really, I don't know. It's hard to judge. Like
Welbeck's untoppable, isn't he? Up front, like,
you can't get that guy.
You cannot.
Even Rutter at times, like Rutter's coming off the bench at times, isn't he? To get
their attacking options are frighteningly good. Like Gruder is such a good player. Minter, I think, is going to go up another level.
I mean, he already looks better than he looks like he's taking another step forward, doesn't he?
That's the thing. Do you know what I think sometimes with Brighton
really
is
good against City.
Their model kind of allows their players to develop in a way that, like, Minter Ruta and all those kind of players, I know they played significant parts last year, but it kind of allowed them a year to bed in, and then this is the year they're going to kick on. So maybe you'll see a lot of these signings actually make more of an impact next season, so it kind of gives them a bit of a buffer.
I know a lot of Brighton fans are very weirded out by the Buonanotte move.
Yeah,
like,
well,
he had a good year at Leicester, and I think a few of them thought like,
he might.
Even in CISO, like, why are you letting these guys go? I don't understand.
But then Buonanotte, and then obviously for him to be dropped out of the Champions League squad, I think a lot of them are quite confused because there's rumours that there's no fee. Apparently, there's no like.
It's straight line.
It's just straight line. There's no obligation or option. It's just straight line.
There's clearly some kind of there's some kind of arrangement going on. It's important to remember they spent loads of money last year, I think they had to be a bit more sensible. But I think what Ben was kind of alluding to, you have to look at these Brighton signings. It's always about next year. It's always about next year. Other than De Kuyper, who's come in straight away, a lot of these signings are give it time. Because Gruder, we hardly saw him last season. Minter was sort of in and out of the squad. Yeah. They managed to hold on to Matoma.
It seemed like they're cutting their losses on Matt O'Reilly.
I find that really weird because
I like Matt O'Reilly.
I like Matt O'Reilly, but he's gone to Marseille, so it shows that he's all right. I'm going to give this a C just because I just don't really know what else to say
I would
about
say
it.
maybe a C+. C+. And they kept hold of Van Heck, who was being linked. Keeper was being linked to Bayern Munich as well. I don't think that's too bad either.
Verbruggen was linked to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, but linked to Bayern. Yeah, genuinely linked to Bayern. So I'll give that. I would go maybe with a C+. But again, let us know in the comments below. Over to Brentford, fellas. Big signings in Ouattara coming in from Bournemouth. We also saw Kelleher come in from Liverpool. Anthony Milambo has joined from Feyenoord, the attacking midfielder. Michael Kyoto came in, he was already there in January, but permanently came in from Feyenoord. And they bought a youngster from Birmingham called Donovan, along with Jordan Henderson coming in on a free from Ajax, and Reece Nelson coming on loan. The sales, obviously, Brian Mbeumo going to Manchester United, good money for him. Visser, great money for him. Norgard, they got just about £10 million for him. Mark Flecken, they got £10 million to buy Leverkusen. Ben Mee went on a free. Ben Winterbottom went on a free to Barrow. That is kind of Brentford's transfer business. Arguably one of the biggest lots we've got to mention as well.
I just
Tommy Frank.
Yeah, I think the losses from the top down are too great. Like Flecken was such a solid goalkeeper. Norgard was their captain. Yeah, in midfield.
The Sunderland game was quite telling. I think.
Both.
I thought they were unlucky.
They have been unlucky, but how long does that being unlucky
last?
That will eat away because they're in such a precarious position with a Virgin manager basically coming in. Having his first go. Don't get me wrong, I actually think Henderson is
never heard someone call a manager that before.
It worked. I was going to say fledgling, but I guess it is Virgin manager.
Yeah, it works.
I mean, honestly, I was doing Sky Sports stuff with Keith Andrews on like the Championship playoff. And now he's managing Brentford. I can't believe it. Well-dressed man. Ouattara is a proven player. Milambo remains to be seen. Coyote,
but he was already good last.
Very good. The thing is, I actually like all of their signings. I mean, Henderson, Nelson, Kelleher's a great piece of business, but I just think that the wound is too great to heal, in my opinion, for Brentford this year.
I think they will be okay.
Right, I hope so.
I think they'll be okay.
I hope so. Oh, I don't know.
I like Brentford.
It is worrying that they've lost like Luton and Sunderland already. So again, maybe
but Sunderland are kind of riding that hive. Stadium Alliance back in the Premier League, like they kind of turned that game around late on. Brentford had missed a penalty as well. They probably were valued for at least a point in that game. It is about getting over the line, obviously. I think the more people. I know it wasn't in the league, but they were full value for their win against Bournemouth in the League Cup as well. Like that, you can't turn your nose up at that. Keeping Damsgaard, I think, was as important as keeping hold of any player. I'm sorry, but a team with Mikkel Damsgaard in it doesn't go down. He's too good. He was unbelievable against Villa when he came back into the team. I like the business they've done individually. Yes, I do think that they are big losses to kind of get over and recover. There will probably be teething problems there at the start, as there would be with any new manager. You have to give them time. Yes, there's pressure on them to stay in the Premier League. I think they'll be all right. I don't think you can give the window any more than like a C.
Yeah.
Probably less than that, to be honest. But
they sold really well. They sold, in terms of how much money, they got maximum amount of money they could for some of their sales.
I think they'll be fine.
Okay. Well, as long as they stay up, I think that's all that Brentford fans are caring about right now. Over to Manchester City then. Some of the guys that have left the club. We saw Jack Grealish go on loan to Everton. Scott Carson, lads. Icon is gone. He's gone. I wonder if he's waiting for the call up from Tommy T. Carl Walker has gone to Burnley. Kevin De Bruyne obviously went to Napoli. Ilkay Gundogan went to Galatasaray. You saw Akanji join Inter. Ederson joined Fenerbahce.
Good deal for Inter.
We saw James McAtee as well go to Nottingham Forest. He was at the top of the list of their sales. Then some of the guys they've brought in, Bertinelli, Sevan Naipan, who's actually gone on loan to Middlesbrough. We saw Donnarumma come in from PSG. James Trafford come in from Burnley. Ryan Cherky, Ryan Aït-Nouri, and Tiani Reinders. Let's crack off with the goalkeeper situation then. Because if you're James Trafford right now, Ben, how are you feeling?
Confused.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
A little bit, just like it's a really weird one to kind of wrap your head around, the fact that it seemed like they'd just addressed the issue. It didn't seem like they've still got Ortega there, I'm pretty sure. So I thought it'll be a year of Trafford kind of bedding in. They know they've got another reliable goalkeeper that they can kind of bring in. If Ederson was going to leave in Ortega, if things get bad, Ortega has had this reputation for a long time alongside Kelleher as the best backup goalie in the league before Kelleher moved to Brentford. So to have Donnarumma, arguably the best big game goalkeeper in world football, even though, yes, you can kind of question the signing.
Top 5 keeper in the world.
Bottom line is he is at least, very much top 5 goalkeeper in the world, maybe top 3. For him to come in, you're probably looking at that thinking, well, it's not like Donnarumma's 31 either. Donnarumma's 26, 27. He has got another 10 years at the top, really.
No, easily.
I think it's bizarre. I do think it's a little bit bizarre.
But do we not need to talk about, I mentioned it with Maresca and Chelsea's. Arguably, the same rule applies here. We've already seen James Trafford struggle in the Spurs game with the ball at his feet. Donnarumma...
Yeah, but I saw him make great saves against
Yeah.
Brighton.
Yeah, they lost to Brighton.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
They lost to Spurs. Spurs, one of them was his fault.
That was his
That's my point, is that
he was very shaky
that
against
makes
Tottenham, not just a goal.
they got rid of their goalkeeper, who was one of the best with the ball at his feet, in Ederson, to bring in 2 goalkeepers. And I actually think James Trafford's not bad with it, but you obviously see him learning.
James Trafford is good with his feet. I just think he's... I think it's...
Can I just call him James Ederson then? James Trafford. Yeah.
Thomas Ederson. I think he... James Trafford is a good goalie with his feet. I just think it's a big step up. It's just going to take
Massive
time.
step up. But my point
if
is,
I was a City fan, I'd much rather just trusted him.
Yeah, me too.
And use that money to go.
I wonder. That's what I mean. Is that I almost feel like it was an opportunity there for City, and they've realised this was never part of our plan, but maybe it's something we should do.
It's a big club move.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a business first. No heart or sentiment. It's just sorry, James. Donnarumma's
They're
available.
also, if Trafford kicks up a fuss, Pep isn't the sort of player to stand in the way of players leaving. They wouldn't. I don't think they'd lose any money on Trafford. I think someone would probably come in and pay £30 million for Trafford next summer.
But I think for Trafford, right, he's got a Man City thinking, look, World Cup year, I can really make a move to try and see if I can get this England
he's not
place.
going to start for England, is he? So.
But I think if he had an unbelievable season for Man City, I think he could have a good shout to start.
Is he in the squad for England?
Yeah, I think he is.
I think Pickford's
Henderson and Pickford.
Him, and then Henderson is such.
But the point is that he could have had a great year at City, which could have had that opportunity for him.
Yeah,
but now we might see him as the bench guy.
I think he's looking at Euro 2028.
This is going to be an issue now for City, where they're going to have one of these players are going to be upset when they're not playing. Genuinely, it's not like where it was a sub goal in who was a German that was there for a few years for City goalkeeper Ortega.
Ortega is
still there.
Yeah, but he knows his role in that squad, doesn't he?
Sorry.
Whereas these two are both thinking, I'm a first choice goalkeeper here, and I've joined, and one of them are going to be upset, and it's probably going to be James Trafford, because you assume that Donnarumma's going to be on huge wages as well.
You said there about the fact that it might just be like a market opportunity to bring in Donnarumma.
Yeah.
Is there maybe an argument to say that it's kind of also another sign of maybe Pep's potentially evolving a little bit?
I think there's an
idea
idea.
Full circle.
Well, I also think as well there's an idea that City are thinking, well, Pep's not going to be here in 2 years.
Yeah. Do we just need a proper shot stopper?
Why not get maybe the best goalkeeper in the world just shot stopping? So I don't think it's a bad I don't think it's terrible. I do understand the confusion aspect. Let's just mention a few of the others then quickly. Ryan Cherky injured
2 months
now.
out. Yeah.
2 months out. Slightly worrying. Aït-Nouri, I had my worries about him. Does it feel like they're coming a little bit to fruition? Yes.
Yeah, to an extent.
City, I don't think defensively are looking very strong. They were all over the place.
I think there's bigger issues
against,
than Norrie, though.
No, yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that is fair enough. That goal, I think, is it for Brighton, and you see the back line for
That was in
City,
the
and
86th
it's just
minute of the
a
game.
mess.
It's just like, I don't know how they're in that situation.
Reinders, I would still sit here and say, like, he had an amazing debut against Wolves. People saying that may be the best debut the Premier League have ever seen, and then it's been okay since, but I think that is a bigger issue than just Reinders. I think City are looking a little bit shaky.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of big personalities in that dressing room.
Yeah.
Edison, Akanji, he's always been the doctor, whatever they were calling him. Gundogan, De Bruyne. I know Walker wasn't there for the back end 6 months. Grealish as well. They've lost a lot of big characters that probably injected that dressing room.
It's a new
with
squad, isn't it? Basically, it's like a new version, a new era.
Yeah,
Gundogan's Galatasaray. After Galatasaray had spent all this money on like legit good players, like they went and got Singo from Monaco for 30
good
million. Them signing Gundogan on deadline day was almost like a healing moment.
Did you see
it was also like, oh yeah, they still want these guys.
Did you see the photo of him as a kid
Yeah,
in
with
the
the cap.
Galatasaray hat? Like, it's really, really
It's
sweet.
a good deal. I want Gala to do so well in the Champions League.
What
But
would-
yeah, I would
are you ranking
honestly
it?
give this a...
I don't think it's bad. It's not bad, but it is questionable.
Yeah.
I think it's a B-.
Yeah,
I think it's B. I could say B.
Yeah, I was going to say, same with Ben.
I think that they need a right back.
They need a right back.
I don't get that.
Well, they keep shoving out. Who's the new? Who's
Portuguese
shoved
guy?
out
It was
there?
Nunes and Lewis, isn't it?
Nunes put out there. Kusanov can do it at times. Yeah. Okay. I think B.
They have spent a lot of money since last January.
Yeah.
And like,
They spent a lot of
only
money.
Marmouche has really been the...
Yeah. And even then, they're kind of like forcing him into a position that isn't quite natural for him, I think. Okay, B for Man City, B-. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below for them. Wolverhampton Wanderers then. Again, we may have to just speed it up a little bit. Wolverhampton Wanderers got good money from Mateus Cunha. I actually think some Wolves fans were disappointed how much money they got for Ryan Nuri. They think they should have got a bit more. I think that's fair enough to say. Fabio Silva got good money from Dortmund. Gonzalez Guedes, I didn't even realise, but he's joined Real Sociedad.
Good meal.
We saw Nelson Semedo leave as well, and Sarabia leave too. And the guys they brought in, it took them a little while. They ended up bringing in Strad Larson on a permanent, even though it did seem like he might have ended up making a move in the end. Didn't quite in the end. Arkadar from Genk.
Orokadare.
Thank you from Mr. Pronunciation over here. Fer Lopez came in from Celta Vigo. Kretschy. Zach. John Arias from Fluminense. Hellas Verona. Jackson
Got to be like loan with an
Chachua.
obligation, surely.
And David Moyla Wolf coming in from AZ Alkmaar.
Wolfie.
My pronunciations, I really do apologise, guys, for. What do we make of it?
So, I think it's really interesting. I think it's very much a proofs in the pudding window. Holding on to Larson was really good. I think
I like Fer Lopez.
Fer Lopez is very exciting. Orokadare is a 6'6" absolute beast of a striker coming in from Genk, where he scored loads last year. He's had a really intriguing career up to this point. I think he was playing in Latvia or Lithuania. Before that, has kind of built his way up. And then he was the top scorer in the Belgian league last year, which you never quite know what to make of it. On one hand, you have Jonathan Davids, and on the other hand, you have Paul Onuachu. Like it can go either way.
Gift Orban, remember him?
Gift Orban, yeah, exactly. So I think that's why 26 million seems a bit of a reasonable gamble. Krejci was part of the Slavia Prague, or Sparta or Slavia Prague, one of those two. But he's been really highly rated and had a very good season last year at Girona. So I think that's one to look out for as well. And Chachua from Hellas Verona, I'm pretty confident that he was one of the quickest players in Serie A last season. He's a rapid, interesting signing. Arias as well.
Yeah, they needed a right back, didn't they?
So
they needed a right back.
I actually think
Not bad.
I think it's a pretty solid window.
It's okay. I think I've seen a few Wolves fans online a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, that's because they probably just don't know who any of these players are, which is fair enough.
No,
right?
that is-
I mean, it's quite a scattergun. It's
It
a
is.
scattergun window.
I wonder whether Vitor Pereira's happy. That's a big thing. Like he has managed to do a really good job, I think.
But
since
I
taking
don't
over.
think Wolves buy players based on the manager they're going to have at the helm.
Yeah, that is true.
I think at that point it's.
I
more-
don't know if they're going to go down though. Like
They might do.
I had them to go down. I'm sticking
I
by
can't
it right
remember
now.
if I did now.
I don't think you did.
And you know what? Like a lot of people actually think Wolves played better without Matheus Cunha when he was playing sometimes last season. As a squad, they played better.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe individually they're missing out on.
I still think that was almost like as a result of the kind of galvanisation of the group.
I think Larsson staying is key.
No, it's a good window from Wolves. It's not bad. I think the thing is they've lost some big players, and have they got in enough kind of immediate first team starters? Time will tell. So I'm going to give it a C plus, just because I don't necessarily know what to say.
Jury's out.
I think C's great. Okay, then let's go to Manchester United for this one. And talk about some of their big signings. Obviously, Brian Mbeumo coming in for a little bit amount of money. We saw Benjamin Sesko coming in for the most amount of money. Matheus Cunha coming in. That's 3 players all around the 70-plus mark, 65-plus mark. We then saw on the last day, Royal Antwerp's goalkeeper, Sene Lammens, coming in as well to basically what you assume be their number 1 for them. Diego Leon, the left back, coming in as well. I think that's very much like a one for the future. In terms of the big guys leaving, Rashford goes to Barcelona on loan. Jadon Sancho goes to Aston Villa on loan. I think actually for their academy, Harry Amas going to the Championship, and so with Toby Colley going to the Championship is very, very good. Garnacho leaving the club to Chelsea for £40 million. Anthony going to Real Betis as well. Lindelof going for a free, and Højlund going to Napoli on loan, which will then be a permanent. Yeah. What do you think? It is probably a good window.
What was the fee for Højlund in the end?
Højlund's like 40 odd, isn't it? They probably should have got more for Garnacho.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, they haven't sold. I don't think they've sold particularly well.
There's still questions over the futures once these guys come back.
Amas apparently they're paying for everything. Apparently they were like, look, just go to Sheffield Wednesday, and it was a brief window where Sheffield Wednesday were allowed to sign players.
Yeah, Wednesday don't have a long time.
Again, they've spent 250 million euros, and I still think there's gaping holes that they need to fix. Yeah. I said this a few weeks ago, Zach. For 250 million, they could have gone after some more honest players at lower price points and managed to fill more gaps in that squad, in my opinion. They've spent so much money on that attack. And don't get me wrong, Sesko could be great and Mbeumo great. Cunha's looked really exciting since he's gone in there. But to go 76, 75, 74 million euros on all those 3 players and still have problems with that midfield where they just need some more legs in there.
Yeah.
I'm mildly baffled by it.
I firmly agree.
I mean,
I just think it's crazy to spend that much money and not address your biggest problem.
But they spent so much money on the attack, didn't they? And not even they tried to obviously look at Baleba, found out he's costing you an arm and a leg to get. They then didn't even try really for any kind of
Conor Gallagher
lower level. On the last day. But I mean, talk about pressure. Lammens, the keeper, you've seen Onana and Bendir have absolute shockers. We spoke about the Grimsby game last week, and they played Burnley, another shocker where he's palming it in front of the Burnley player. They just about get through that. And then he's coming in. I mean, he's only 23 years old. Don't get me wrong. I think there's statistically he looks good, as a young goalkeeper that's come out of Belgium. But it's a hell of a jump up to go from Royal Antwerp to Manchester United's goalkeeper to essentially save them from what is going on in the back of their net at the moment.
It looks like he's got a bit of a rick in him as well. I know we kind of spoke about this earlier with other goalkeepers. Every goalkeeper makes mistakes, but I think United fans are quite nervous about this. And also, I think it's a little bit like Sesko, that. Being the United striker or the United goalkeeper, that shirt it's kind of the same as the manager as well.
Yeah.
The thing of it being Man United, that shirt does wear quite heavy, and that I hope he's got a good. He seems like he's coming in fairly confident. I don't know.
Mate, you can be as confident as you want, and then you have one little mistake.
Onana's the most confident goalkeeper in the world.
Literally.
I don't know, man.
Why don't you just get someone to shield the defence?
Why didn't they get
Why don't you just take someone to take pressure off the
goalkeeper?
They
tried to look, didn't they? I think same with Emi Martinez. They obviously looked at Emi Martinez, didn't they? But
a lot of the best goalkeepers in the world play behind amazing
defences,
amazing defensive midfields, and I think that cannot be overlooked.
The midfield is going to be a huge issue, and the thing is, it's something that will just keep being spoken about for the rest of the season until they get to January, right? And then again, the Kobe Mainoo situation, whether he even gets minutes at times this season's going to keep going. If you had to rank it then, boys, I think, is it like a B minus?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like quite fair, B.
It's definitely not anymore.
Yeah, I think if they ended up getting Baleba, Jesus, yeah, it could have been an A. But I think for now, it's a B. I think Man United fans are fairly happy with it. They're definitely hoping that Sesko... I think they're also quite... they like what they've seen so far from Cunha. They like at least a little bit of what they've seen from Mbeumo. I think Sesko is interesting, isn't it? Sesko will be interesting to see what happens there. Again, let us know in the comments below what you think. Burnley is our next one, boys, to get through. We've still got a few more to talk about.
I actually low-key quite like this Burnley.
Yeah, well, look, they obviously sold James Trafford, was one of the big sales over to Man City. They lost Egan Riley to Marseille on a free transfer. That was some of the big misses. Masengo as well went to Augsburg in Germany. The guys that have come in, they got three Chelsea boys, actually, I should say, even though Bash Humphries was there last year. Broja, a lot of money on him. Leslie Chukwu was their most expensive signing in midfield. Choma came in from Lazio. We saw Hartman, the left back, join from Feyenoord. Marcus Edwards, again, I think that was one that was previous, but is now permanent from Sporting. Jaden Anthony, who scored against Manchester United.
He started really well, Anthony.
He's got a lot of points on fancy.
He was. Ian Fleming as well was another one that came in, along with Larson and Weiss. Florentino as well came in on deadline day.
That's a wild move.
It was.
Florentino is the new William Carvalho in that he was at Sporting. This guy was at Benfica. For years, people were like, William Carvalho, is he ever going to leave Sporting? Where's he going to go? And then he went to Betis. This Florentino, we used to push him on Continental Club to make Europe's elite. And Burnley have come and got him on what could be a super exciting piece of business. I'm with you, actually. Chona has started quite lively on the wing for them so far. As you said, Anthony's been an exciting addition. There is some promise.
Tuanzebe came in as well.
Yeah, Premier League experience. I'm not, like I said before a few weeks ago, I'm not massively convinced about Broja.
Dubravka.
But Lyle Foster's actually started the season okay. Walker, again, not massively convinced in terms of like, I think he's past it. But I do think for the dressing room, I think Walker will have a couple of games this season. Well, he needs to have more than a couple, but like a couple of games where we're all kind of watching it and you go, actually, you know what? Like, it was pretty good. I don't hate it. I think that's like a B.
You know what? For their standard, considering at one point in the window it looks rough. It looks really rough for Burnley. Yeah. I think it's not too bad. I also don't mind Dubravka. It's like, okay, he's not James Trafford, but I think Dubravka is a Premier League goalkeeper. Yeah. He's a decent goalkeeper. I think he's showcased that for Newcastle a few times as well. I definitely don't mind it. I think B is a fair enough shout for them. Let's go over then to Liverpool. Really apologise for that accent. That was shocking. Alexander Isak, the big boy, happened deadline day. Another time of let it all work out. Go on, Henry. You got to get in there at one point. One day. Florian Wirtz. We saw the British transfer record smashed twice in the same window by the same club. For Isak and Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike came in. Milos Kerkez came in. Jeremy Frimpong came in. Giovanni Leone, the centre-back, young one from Parma, come in. We then also saw some sales for Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, João Quansah, Ben Doak, Kelliher, Alexander-Arnold obviously left on a free. Nat Phillips also went to West Brom. And Tsimikas made a loan move, and Harvey Elliott as well, obviously them being permanent eventually. They sold and made over, I think, just about £200 million. They spent a lot of money.
Yeah, their net spend's basically 200 mil.
Yeah.
220 mil.
Yeah,
like
but in terms of how much they have spent, they did spend a lot.
Yeah, they didn't spend
much
any last year.
They didn't spend any last year. We also saw as well the goalkeeper finally joined them. They bought in last year as well. Georgi Mamadashvili. I mean, it's an A window, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If they'd got Gehi, it would have been the best window I think we've ever seen in the Premier League era. Yep. It's still an A. I think you can argue it to be an A+. The front line is frightening. I think if you're any club coming up against them, there's a million different options. I think Wirtz has started a little bit slow, but
I think it's just the intensity of the Prem.
And I think it's also learning this system that I think Liverpool want to figure out. Like, there is a world where I'm interested to see how he keeps everyone happy. Like, especially once Frimpong's back as well, we're going to see, like, is Szoboszlai now that's going to be the starting right back? Because he's done such an amazing job there. So far this season, it's been incredible. But, like, then how does the attack work? Because Gakpo just signed a new contract. And he's also been one of the best left wingers in the league.
Exactly. You literally sat here and told me that Chelsea have a plan for all 98 of their
No. I'm not. I'm just saying.
So I'm sure.
But a lot of Chelsea. But one of the difference with Chelsea's players is not all of them are like starting players. I think they can understand they might have bench minutes.
It's a long old season.
How do you tell Gakpo? It is a long old season. But how do you tell? Like, how do you fit Ekitike, Isak, Salah, Gakpo, Wirtz?
I think you're one injury. I think you're one injury away from that not being a problem whatsoever.
Of course. So I don't think you should bank on an injury.
And yeah, I think there's so much Champions League football, League Cup football. There's going to be plenty of minutes for these guys in this team. As you said, the only
who drops out though? Is it Gakpo?
I don't know. I think Gakpo's brilliant. He's one of the most useful players in their squad. Like,
so
his numbers off the ball are nuts. Like he draws fouls. He's so busy, Gakpo.
Such a unique winger.
So is it Ekitike then that doesn't make the starting 11?
Yeah, but I think I do partly think we've got to get away
sure,
from this idea.
It's not. But if they're playing Arsenal like they did,
they got two.
Who drops out of that squad?
Probably Ekitike at this point. But I mean, at the same time,
I love
to have two elite.
Yeah,
strikers,
it's amazing. It's an amazing problem.
It's a problem we'd all love to have.
100%.
I think people are kind of.
Agreed.
I think there's people out there that are almost like trying to pick holes in it because they're like rivals to Liverpool. When actually,
I'm being devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just saying there are people out there that are going like, how on earth do they like? I saw someone make a video on TikTok yesterday. It was a gooner and was like, this won't work. Isak and Ekitike, we've seen it plenty of times. It's like you're just saying that because you don't want it to work. It will work. I'm sorry, it will.
Wirtz is the only question mark because he had a bit of a slow back end to last season in the Bundesliga. He went on a pretty barren run, and he hasn't been. I don't think it matters too much, but he hasn't been like Szoboszlai. If Szoboszlai keeps playing the way he does, he will have every right to go up to Arne Slot at some point. If Wirtz doesn't pick it up and go, why is he starting over me when I'm doing everything else? So that's another one. But I mean, that's the only question mark really is have they slightly overpaid for him? But it's a gamble worth taking, in my opinion.
100%.
It's a spectacular window. And
I do worry if ever, say, like, if Konate gets injured, who does have a bit of a shaky injury record.
Or Van Dijk.
Van Dijk just seems like he never gets injured, though, does he? But in terms of Konate, like, what is the case then? Yeah. Like, okay, is it...
Leone looks like
Joe Gomez as well.
Joe Gomez, that's half the reason they didn't sell him in the end.
Yeah.
But Gravenberch, I guess, can do a job at centre-back.
Yeah.
Like,
Joe Gomez is one of the most underrated defenders in the league.
Questions...
for it. It's not a problem they haven't faced before, is having to be a bit more creative with their defence.
They faced it last season. Konate got injured for a couple of months?
Just quickly to everyone who likes European football, go and have a look at Eintracht Frankfurt's business, because I promise you there's about 3 players in that attack, which next year will be in exactly the same situation that we've seen this year.
And also like midfield, like Hugo Larsson probably as well.
Yeah, they've got Chaibi and Hugo Larsson at centre mid. It's just... Frankfurt's business is some of the most fascinating in Europe. They brought in a guy like Bergstad.
Strikers look amazing, don't they?
They've got this guy, it's Bayo on the left wing from France. Unbelievable. I'm just keep an eye on that on them. But yeah, this is an A-star.
Yeah, I think so. I'm absolutely frightened to see that Liverpool
Well done,
attack.
Liverpool.
I really am. Well done. Okay, then. Everton is the next club we're going to talk about.
A-star.
I think, again, another A, really. Like, I remember speaking... Joe was on the video about a month ago with Meron, and we were speaking about how I really like Everton's window. And Joe was saying about how, like, oh, yeah, but do you like Everton's potential window? Because half the transfers haven't happened. Well, the ones that have happened, I think, are really, really good. Tyler Dibbling came in for under £40 million. Tiano Barry, not seen a lot of him just yet, but he came in. Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Wow.
What a player.
Wow. Carlos Alcaraz made permanent. We then saw Adam Azunu coming from Bayern. No, but he's a highly rated fullback. Mark Travers come in as one of the backup goalkeepers. Merlin Roll.
A lot of Everton fans are really excited about Roll.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young guy coming from Freiburg,
German
attacking midfielder on loan, but becomes permanent. We then need to talk about Jack Grealish coming in as well on loan, and the boy is back. The boy is back. Sales quickly. Neil Mupai. They got Calvert-Lewin off the books. Begovic went. Chimiti. Ashley Young as well.
8.6 million for
Decore
Chimiti.
too, actually, was a big player for them originally.
Yeah.
But I agree, lads. It's probably an A-star. Like,
for me,
or maybe not A-star. It's not. I don't think it's good at Liverpool's. I think it's an A-.
The thing I
B
would
plus.
The strap line that I would say to
They need fullbacks, I think, slight issue.
Yeah, well, Asnu can play both sides, I think.
But again, it's like a young. It's a lot of not too much experience for
it.
But sure.
Right back, I think would have been the thing that they wanted to address. The thing I would say is that I don't think they've necessarily won the window, but I don't think any team has upgraded their starting 11 transformed their starting 11 in a positive way as much as Everton. Yeah. Like the upgrade from last game of last season, right? Their starting 11 was...
It would be Pickford, Ashley Young,
Why you do that? I texted you about this. We interviewed Dewsbury Hall a few years ago at Leicester. Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like a really honest, good guy.
Man.
Tough time at Chelsea. I'm so happy to see him getting minutes week in, week out.
And he's playing link up with Jack Grealish is so good.
The fun of the football on Saturday was just.
It's not even that different, actually.
No, it's not. But like, if you like Alcaraz, squad player. Barry is an upgrade on Beto, in my opinion. And Jai moving over to the right to compensate for Harrison, massive upgrade. Grealish and Dewsbury Hall in those two positions. Garner, I think, is going to kick on this year. I do like maybe they haven't like
the front lines, the front
11 for 11.
But the issue was the front line.
Yeah,
right. That was always one of the biggest issues at Everton.
That's
like it was always like Dwight McNeil has to do everything here to get so. And they've still got Dwight McNeil as an option now as well. They don't have to fully rely upon him to do something like that. Front four, and really, it's more the three behind the striker. Is so fun.
Grealish, Dewsbury Hall and Giles. So that's what I mean. Do you think there is any team that rivals Everton for transforming their team as much in this window?
I mean, it's difficult.
There's obviously will be a few, but like I think they're right up there.
For things as well that aren't awful. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see whether they ever make the Jack Grealish one a permanent, and because of the quoted fees like 50 million. But we'll see on that front. But yeah, I agree. Everton, lovely window. I think we're all happy to give them. Let's go A minus.
No minus, A.
Okay, fair enough then. Let us know in the comments what you think. Spurs, let's talk about them because they ended up having a busy window. They really did. At one point, we had questions.
Teams, isn't there?
We got only 4 more teams to get through, including Spurs. Now, Tottenham Hotspur brought in Paulinho on loan. That was a very interesting move.
Signing of the window, according to Athletic.
Yeah.
Not sure about that.
Kolo Muani came in on loan on deadline day. That was really, really interesting. We saw Vuskovic finally join the team. Takai come in as well, some youngsters. Kevin Danso officially joined the team. Matthias Tell officially joined the team, but then been left out of the Champions League squad.
I think
Mohamed Kudus, who looks really, really good. And Xavi Simons, the boy who I thought we were wearing blue, but he is not. He let it off. The guys that left, of course, Young-Min Son was probably the biggest one. Mikey Moore on loan at Rangers. I mean, that's not necessarily going amazingly at the moment. Yeah. What do you make of it, Ben? Let's be honest. I mean, it's probably a B+. Really, I think.
Yeah,
maybe a centre-back cover.
My video that I did, I rated it a 7.5. So I reckon that would equate to a B+. Teaching on an A-. I'd say. I think if Spurs had got in another left winger, I think it probably would have been like if we'd have got Savinho over the line. I think that would have been a 10 out of 10. I do. The thing is with Lookman, right? I really wanted Lookman because I think one thing that Spurs might be missing in that final third is actually goals, and I think Lookman does over the course of what he's done at Atalanta does. Provide that. However, the one thing I would say, and it might be copium, but I think the Lookman deal was such an easy one to do. There must be a reason why they didn't do it. If you get what I mean. Like I think they probably had some sort of reservation. I also think it gives good opportunity for Wilson Odebear to kick on, Matisse Tell to get minutes in the league. I think Odebear with Simmons and Kudus alongside him in that front line now. When I said this on a podcast yesterday, when there was a bit of a clamour from Spurs fans to get Odebear into the team under Ange last year because we were really crying out for that like 1v1 dribbly winger. And although Odebear wasn't necessarily the answer, the ready, proven option, he was exactly the sort of profile that we needed. And he wasn't necessarily playing as settled and as functional an attack as what we could see maybe now under Frank. So I think having Simmons and Kudus alongside that front line...
You're over the moon with Simmons, aren't you? You're over the moon.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good signing.
Why is he called Xavi on fantasy, though? Can someone explain that?
He's got Xavi on the back of his shirt.
Yeah. I mean, his first name is Xavi, isn't it?
yeah.
Some players pick that. Some players pick that. Spanish Dutch, isn't he?
I think it's I think did Tottenham address every area that they needed to address? Maybe not. Does that always happen in every window? No. Can you complain about? If you'd have offered me that at the start of the window, I would have definitely snapped your hand off.
On deadline day, you tweeted when you saw that Spurs weren't going to make any signings. You were like, And then by the end of the day, they'd signed Kolo Muani on loan. I think
to be fair, I think it was Matt Law who wrote that article. It got really badly. It was badly aggregated, and I just saw that tweet. And also, like the headline of the article was really misleading. And he came out and was like, "No, I meant maybe a striker, but then we signed Kolo Muani anyway." I wanted us on deadline day before we signed Kolo Muani. I wanted us to prioritise a winger who could maybe play up front like someone like a Lookman. I thought Lookman
can play on the left wing, can't he?
He can, but I also think that I think there's a case that Kolo Muani could be Tottenham starting number 9.
Yeah.
The only thing is, there's no option or obligation to buy, which makes you think we're bringing Harry Kane back next year to come and break the record and win the lot. So, you've got to look at things.
A man can dream.
Well.
I mean, look, mate, I genuinely think
it's a good window.
I think it's a really good window.
Also, we got out on loan all the players that needed minutes. We got rid of Brian Hill on a permanent. Solomon's
but age profile of these players are really exciting. Like Mohamed Kudus, you got him at a great fee. You got
there for some reason.
Xavi Simons, I think, at a decent fee as well. Like, these are guys who...
Simmons and Kudus for 100 mil is unbelievable business.
It's really good. It's really, really good. No, I'm genuinely like a big guy about Simmons. I love him. I've always spoken about how I think he's a fantastic player. And when he was linked to Chelsea, I loved it. And I love it for Spurs. I actually think it's probably a better move.
Yeah, I think
like,
it
becomes a crucial player for you guys. He'll start every game for you guys.
Yep.
He can play on the left. He can play through the middle. He can do all of these things for you.
Yep.
I mean, he can even do them on the right. I think at times he's played up top as well.
Yeah.
But he is such a fantastic player to watch.
Yeah, I do think there'll be a bit like Verts. I think there'll be a bit of an adaptation. Period
Yeah, I
Bundesliga to
agree.
the Prem.
I agree.
think
like you're seeing, one of the things you're seeing for Verts at the moment. I think you're seeing him realise the physicality.
I don't think it's the physicality, and I think it's the intensity.
Yeah,
I think Premier League games are like not similar sort of thing, but like I think it's more the actual speed of the game. I don't think it's.
I think you got him for less than half what Liverpool pay for Verts. Tottenham's weird pull to get these players every now and then is quite funny.
I think just don't shake on the gentleman's agreement.
Solid B plus.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. I think well done Spurs. Done well. Mateus Tel.
Tel's an interesting one. I think. I think unfortunately Spurs kind of were left with a bit of a situation with our Champions League squad where because of our lack of club trained homegrown players,
you do struggle.
Someone was going to have to miss out, and I do think it's probably the right decision. And he's only 20. There'll be time for him to bounce back. Good mentality. I'm backing you, Matisse.
Okay, then. Over to Leeds United quickly. We're going to try and blast through the last three. I do apologise if your club is in that. Aaron Stach, Noah Akafora from AC Milan. Akafor. Bijol from Udinese. Lucas Perry from Lyon. Sean Longstar from Newcastle, Gabriel Goodmanson from Lille, James Justin from Leicester, Sebastian Bornau from Wolfsburg, Dominic Calvert-Lewin obviously joining from a free, Nemcha, who I actually think has looked pretty good so far from Wolfsburg as well, Rasmus Christensen coming back as well on loan. Oh no, tell a lie, he then got sold. Sam Greenwood ended up leaving as well. Junior Firpo left to Real Betis. What do you think of Leeds so far? I can't work them out. at the moment in the Prem.
Right.
I also think they've been all right.
I
But
like Stats.
they still slightly worry me for goals
Yes.
going forward. I like Stats. I also I do
think it's
actually
Stack.
quite like the Noah Okafor signing.
Yeah, but he hasn't actually
He's never really kicked on.
played
Yeah.
loads.
And so that's my worry. I still think going forward, like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we saw at Everton in the last few years, hasn't been amazing. I don't think he's going to have it suddenly change. Like it's going to all change for him at Leeds, and even in the game in the Carabao.
Yeah, I think that's
he
unfair
missed
though. I think
big chances.
He was there though. His movement. Calvert-Lewin's movement's never been under question. I mean,
it's his fitness, I guess, is the issue, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think fitness is a big thing. Technically,
Lost
I think he's a very
Bamford
good
as well,
player.
actually.
Metcha's got off the mark, even though if it was a penalty. You're right. They might struggle for goals this year, but he's built a very Stack and Bornau, who I think is a brilliant signing. They're big guys at the back. They're very, very big, imposing centre halves. Longstaff as well, big guy in the midfield. He's gone for a very physical-looking team, and I think they're going to try and just be bullish this season. I think they're going to try and. I don't think you can expect sort of glitzy football from Leeds this year. I think they're taking I think it's a very pragmatic window the way they've gone about it. I think that they're playing almost Moneyball.
It's interesting in terms of our next one who we'll talk about is Sunderland, who almost kind of went for a very different output. What a window. But what would you rank for Leeds? What would you rank for Leeds? Is it a B minus? Is it C plus?
C plus.
C plus?
C plus.
Okay, there you have it.
Jury's out again.
I also quite like as well, I know it's separate to the window, but in terms of Leeds' fortunes, how some of the players that were in the team in the Championship have kind of made the jump. Like, I know Anthony got injured, but he was very good in the opening week.
He's a great player.
Good player. Like, yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. And obviously, they changed the goalkeeper. We're going to Sunderland quickly because we've got a few names to get through here. Obviously, they sold Joe Bellingham. They sold Tom Watson. But then the buys, or the guys that came in, they did bring Mark Gay in. And then they sent Mark Gay back to Chelsea.
Oh, great little goodbye message, I have to say.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, it's not as bad as you've seen the two ChatGPT ones with the exact same message.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, Arthur Mazuaku's back in the Premier League, joining from Besiktas. Ronaldo came from Atletico Madrid. Bertrand Traore joined. Robin Rose, the goalkeeper, came in. Omar Alderete The centre-back joined from Getafe. Nordi Mukiele came from PSG. Granit Xhaka came from Bayer Leverkusen. Noah Siddiqui came from Union SG. Talbi came from Club Brugge. Brian Bobby on the final day came from Ajax. Enzo Lefebvre officially joined. Simon Ndingra from Brighton, and Habib Diarra from Sunderland. It's a good window, man. They've given themselves the best chance I think they possibly could have. They could have maybe done with a striker, I think, in the end.
Brian Bobby.
I know Brian Bobby. Brian Bobby, but Brian Bobby's never like... He's always been like a player you think about.
He had a few good years. Last year, he had an off-season, but actually before that, his numbers were still very strong. He's a big guy.
The two boys at the moment haven't done a bad job. Yeah, they've not done a bad job for Sunderland up top. I'm really enjoying watching the Sunderland side. And I do agree with what you said earlier, Ben. There is an element for them at the moment where it's kind of like riding on the wave. And I think they're probably hoping, let's just keep riding this wave for as long as possible.
Okay. Let them dream.
What you said about Everton upgrading their starting 11, I think this is the biggest example of upgrading your starting 11.
But they really had
the
to.
jump, whereas Everton,
but it's almost staggering how much better. I mean,
yeah.
Xhaka, I stand by it. I think that will go down as one of the signings of the year. Mukiele, we've been talking about him for a long time. Alderete's come in, and what a clever signing. Go to Getafe, one of the hardest working teams in La Liga. Nothing fancy about this. Just get a guy who's going to put his body on the line. Really good. Masuaku, his numbers in Besiktas has been good. I always liked him at West Ham. Traore is the one I'm a bit confused about. Ruths has started brilliantly in goal from then.
Yes,
so far.
He really has.
Diarra, Lefebvre. I mean, it's
think about the clubs that also Geertruida on deadline day. Think about the clubs that he was getting linked with like a year ago. Like as that kind of right back
on loan,
he's on loan. It's just it just kept popping up on Twitter. Sunderland have gone in for this guy, that guy. I
was speaking to Deegi, and he was just saying about like he couldn't have dreamed it to have essentially gone this well or to this level. Like there's definitely no doubt the board and the owners have put money behind them, and I think they are starting really, really well.
6 points already.
You can't complain.
I also think that with a lot of the age profiles of the players, right? I said this at the start of the window when they'd only signed about 4 or 5 of them. Exactly. Like I don't think they're going to be in that much issues financially wise, even if they do go down. Because I think, say Habib Diarra, for example, has a really good season, even though they do go down, they'll probably be able to spend quite a decent amount of profit on him. There's a lot of like loans in here as well. A lot of cheap buys. Like
their biggest buy was only like 25, 30 million pounds.
Yeah.
Like they've not like gone and spent crazy. I mean, it is crazy money for maybe a team that's come up, but still, they've done a very good job. What are we ranking it then, lads? Is it probably an A for them? Yeah, I completely agree. A. Over to our final club then. It's been a long video. This one always is. I appreciate you guys watching this far. If you have, West Ham. Because they ended up doing a few deals in the end. Let's go through the sales. Kudos sold. Agard sold to Marseille. Emerson went to Marseille as well. Edson Alvarez went on loan to Fenerbahce. Kufau left on a free. Danny Ings left on a free. Anne Creswell left on a free. Kurt Zuma left. Maxwell Cornell left. And Antonio, who I think there's still rumors he might come back, left. Fabianski left. The guys they brought in, Julio Igor from Brighton, almost went to Palace. Cole Capita's on a free. Callum Wilson on a free. Great movement for that goal against Forest. Really good movement.
Also stole a shot off Bowen.
He did. Magassa came from Monaco. Mads Hermansen, who there's been a lot of question marks around him at the moment, came from Leicester. Malik Diouf came from Slavia Prague, the left wing back. Tadibo officially joins, I guess, for 40-odd million quid. And you know what? Maybe my favourite transfer of them all, because I think he's really, really good. Mateus Fernandes from Southampton.
Huge fee.
They kept Lucas Paqueta, who obviously scored one of the goals against Forest and did that celebration. I think West Ham fans love that because he was getting a bit of stick, actually, from West Ham fans when he possibly could have moved. What do we make of it? I think for what at one point looked really, really bad, ended up being not so bad, but it's still not great.
Again, what we were saying, context, this has come very late in the window and the rot had set in at West Ham up to that point. So for that, I'm giving it a C-. I like Fernandes, I think, is overpaid, but he looked very good. Diouf, a lot of talk about how exciting he's going to be. Callum Wilson, I honestly don't...
Basically on like a pay-as-you-play kind of contract as well.
From mind it.
It's all right.
I'm honestly, the movement he had for that goal, I think it's so like perfect. But I'd have a backup striker.
The guy's only scored 100 goals in the Premier League. Or he might have scored 100 goals in the Premier League. He's certainly around that. Like he knows where the back of the net is. It's just probably fitness and on a free pay-as-you-play kind of deal, which is what people are saying.
I agree. See, I think centre backs I think can still be a bit of an issue. I think midfield's a little bit lacklustre at times, but It is what it is.
I think Fernandes solves a lot of those problems, though. I just think, like Henry said, they did it too late, and they probably wouldn't be in the position they are now if they had some legs in that.
I think one of their biggest issues as well is they had so many positions to fill. It was like centre backs, they needed 2, they needed a goalkeeper, arguably 2 goalkeepers, they needed 2 strikers, they needed a right winger, they needed an attacking. Like there were so many places.
I do feel sorry for West Ham because if you look at how much money they bring in, they're actually one of the richest clubs.
Well, they spend a lot of money every summer. They spend a lot of money.
They don't actually spend as much money as they make in revenue. They're like the 8th biggest revenue maker in the Premier League. They make like revenue on par with Atletico Madrid and stuff like that. And if you look at the amount of money that the owners have put into the club, COVID's the only time that they properly injected their own cash into the project. A lot of the time they're just spending what they're earning. They're not really gambling beyond it.
I feel sorry for West Ham's fans, to be honest. That club is run like an absolute circus.
Well, you never know, because obviously he's gone to a 4 at the back now. He's ditched the 5, and they looked so badly. They looked pretty good against Forest. Again, not a bad Forest side. So remains to be seen what happened there. Give it till next weekend. We might be changing our opinions. But there we have it. See, boys, well done. Well done. Good shift, lads. Good 90 minutes in the tank. You know what? That'll keep us going for the season. That'll be a good way to start the season. Henry Hill, a lot of people at home want to check you out. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Go to Football Joe. 65,000 of you have watched the Tom Garrett episode on the quiz so far. Very good. New Football Behind Bars coming out this week about me when I went to a Flamengo fan bar in West London. Really good fun.
Lovely, jubbly. Ben, if people want to know why Carragher is your best mate, where can they go?
TikTok. That's where he's seen me. Go TikTok, YouTube, Darren and doing Spurs podcast, FC Bottle Job as well. My other podcast with Seb. Go and check it out.
He's everywhere at the moment. Also on the overlap. Just fighting Rory Jennings.
Didn't like to mention
home. Just smashing it. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you go into the description below. Click that link to check out So Rare. I would really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.